The camera comes on with a shot of the live crowd in the Ford Arena, part of the Ford Idaho Center in Nampa, Idaho. As pyro goes off around the stage area, Violet Orlandi's cover of Black Sabbath's War Pigs starts to play through the arena. Generals gathered in their masses. Just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction. Sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields, the bodies burning. As the war machine keeps turning. Death and hatred to mankind. Poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh Lord, yeah. Politicians hide themselves away. They only started the war. Why should they go out to fight? They leave that role to the poor, yeah. Time will tell on their power minds. Making war just for fun. Treating people just like pawns in chess. Wait till their judgment day comes, yeah. Now in darkness, world stops turning. Ashes where their bodies burning. No more war pigs have the power. Hand of God has struck the hour. Day of judgment, God is calling. On their knees, the war pigs crawling. Begging mercy for their sins. Satan laughing, spreads his wings. Oh Lord, yeah. The Warzone logo comes up onto the screen as a series of pyro goes off. The now normal drone flyby on the arena goes across as the graphic shows that audience at home that 18,535 fans, of a capacity of 21,000, had joined the CWF tonight in the Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. The camera then cuts to our announcers, Ben Price and Fast Eddie Vega. Ben Price: Good evening ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 8 of season 3 for the Conquest Wrestling Federation's Warzone. We're coming to you tonight from the Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. And we have a huge show for you tonight. We have 3 CWF titles, and 1 4 Wins championship on the line for you tonight. Eddie Vega, Steve Murdoch will be defending the 4 Wins Maelstrom Championship against Tarask. Ben Price, the CWF Tag Team Champions, Bad Company will be challenged by the Bastards. That match will have both the CWF Conquest Champion and the 4 Wins Champion face to face in it. Eddie Vega Monster Mammoth will put away Carly Nash in his first CWF Valor Championship defense. Ben Price, and his teammate in the Homicide Gang in the NKO, Armand Von Cross's new corporate-backed faction in the CWF, the Elite Champion, Mad Morales will be facing off against Kara Reinhardt in a Carnival Rules match. Eddie Vega, don't know what that is, but we'll find out. We also have Owen O'Rourke and Gabriel Tuck in a match that was supposed to happen during Shadow Warfare in a Wasteland Death match. Ben Price, Trelissa Perot will be in action, as well as either Frank Windsor or Natalia Santiago depending on if Windsor is cleared to wrestle or not tonight. Eddie Vega, N. Fine by Travis Scott plays as War 1 gets kicked off and as the music plays Morales walks out, the Elite Championship gleaming over his shoulder. He walks with a strut in his step, twirling a microphone in his hand as he makes his way to the ring. He exudes a confidence that masks any sign of nerves ahead of his second title defense in the main event tonight. He slides under the ring and waits a few moments before speaking. Mad Morales, Denver, Colorado, home of thin air and thinner chances for your teams to actually win anything. But tonight, don't worry, you won't need a mile-high miracle for a good time, because I'm here to give you all the show you've been waiting for. Just don't expect a happy ending. The crowd erupts with boos. Mad Morales: Oh, what's the matter, Denver? Did I hit a nerve? Don't get too riled up, because by the end of tonight, I want to hear your anguish as clearly as possible when you see your so-called hero, Kara Reinhardt, laid out somewhere in this arena, because when I'm done, she's going to wish she stayed back in Germany with her tag belts, away from this mess she stepped into. He smirks as the boos intensify. Mad Morales: And trust me, when the dust settles, and I'm still the Elite Champion, you can all go back to whatever it is you do here. What was it again? Oh yeah, pretending your teams have a shot or hyping up the next forgettable prospect. Meanwhile, I'll be here, making history, being the champion this city doesn't deserve, but the one you're all forced to watch anyway. So, buckle up, Denver, because tonight's main event is going to hurt. You thought last week was something? Nah, tonight we turn it up. Tonight, in the main event, the Devil's favorite son goes one-on-one with none other than Kara Reinhardt. And I know, Bad Company is watching, licking their chops, thinking tonight is their night. Thinking they're gonna send a message to the NKO. Well, guess what? That message is getting returned to sender, marked undeliverable. The only message that is being sent tonight is from yours truly, and it's a message to Bad Company, to the War Dogs, to the Bastards, to the Landersons, and to anyone else who still thinks I am not the hottest prospect in this company. He pauses as the crowd gets loud with their boos again and waits for them to quiet down. Mad Morales, I'm not just here to defend this. I'm here to elevate it. Every match, every challenge, every so-called legend that stands in front of me, I've put them down. And tonight, Kara, you're just one more stepping stone on my path to immortality. Because it's not enough to just be a champion, I'm here to rewrite the record books. I'm here to surpass Valoris' reign and become the longest reigning elite champion in CWF history. Mark my words, this gold is staying right here, over my shoulder, where it belongs. He chuckles as he pauses and then points at the camera. Mad Morales, so don't even think about touching that remote, because what you're about to witness isn't just a match, it's a statement. This is the hottest wrestling show on the planet, and it's starting now. And by the end of the night, when the dust settles, everyone will remember one thing: Morales doesn't just fight. Morales dominates. He tosses the mic into the air, letting it drop with a thud as his music blares once more. Ben Price, big words from the NKO member. But can he back them up? Eddie Vega, of course he can. He's got the NKO behind him. Ben Price, well, speaking of the NKO, one of the biggest surprises except for Lady Lana joining them, was Trelisa Perot joining them as well. Eddie Vega, you still made that your girl went to the dark side and got herself some cookies? Ben Price, shut up. Just know that I've thankfully got a refund for her next concert I was going to go to. Eddie Vega, you have a thing for Lana? Ben Price, why does everything have to be like that for you? Eddie Vega, alright, first match. Ben Price, now this match is going to be a strange one as we don't even know if Frank's going to be out here. Eddie Vega, well, we do know one thing is that the War Dogs are banned from ringside. Ben Price, true, oh, it seems that we've got to go backstage. The camera pans up backstage where we see Natalia Santiago talking to both of the War Dogs. Natalia Santiago, keep an eye on Frank, boys. We know you're banned from ringside, but if you see any shenanigans happening, come running. Right to war I go. Ben Price, so it's Natalia wrestling tonight. Eddie Vega, let's hope she doesn't have another wardrobe malfunction like in her last pay-per-view match. Eric Wilson, this match is a standard match to be called down the middle. The first contestant, Trelisa Perot. As her music hits the arena, it darkens, and neon colors light the stage and ramp. Trelisa moves onto the stage under a spotlight. Trelisa wears a different elaborate designer jacket each time she takes the stage, as well as a pair of sunglasses. Turn it up. As the first words hit, Trelisa takes hold of her sunglasses and casts them off her face. She walks down the ramp, and a spotlight follows her, lighting her way. She moves with all the grace of a model on a walkway. As she walks, she lifts her arms out, and then points them in the direction she's walking. She's like a queen taking to the stage, and the audience is her domain until she reaches the bottom of the ramp. I can make your hands clap. At that, Trelisa her hand and claps along with the song. The audience joins in, and Trelisa begins a slow walk around to the south side of the ring. Climbing onto the apron, she'll sway her hips in a dancer's manner, and she'll take a moment to blow a kiss to a fan in the front row, bringing her index and middle finger to her lips as she does so. Finally, she slips into the ring, spinning with a dancer's flair, before turning and moving back toward the opposite corner. Once more the song announces it can make the audience's hands clap, and they clap along. Every night when the stars come out. Climbing to the second rope, Trelisa gracefully dips, leaning forward and reaching a hand up as if she were stretching her arms to the heavens, with the only light in the arena coming from the spotlight on her and the phones from the audience, their lit phones making it seem like she is surrounded by stars. At last, she climbs down and gets ready for the match. Eric Wilson, and her opponent, the She-Witch of Barrow, Natalia Santiago. The lights go out. Made of Stone, by Evanescence starts to blare out around the arena. The big screen kicks in with various shots of Natalia Santiago in mid-flight. Pyros explode as Natalia comes through the entranceway. She pauses ever so slightly as pyros explode behind her. Natalia turns and looks back at the entranceway before turning back and looking at the ring. Eddie Vega, she doesn't look nervous even though she's not an active wrestler anymore. She slowly walks down the rampway, arrogantly passing booing fans, and then rolls into the ring and shouts at her opponent. Ben Price, she sure doesn't like the French chick. Eddie Vega, really? You're going with that? Natalia moves in, grabbing Trelisa by the neck and slamming her up against the turnbuckle. But Trelisa rakes the eyes and slides out and down, under Natalia's legs and up behind her. Trelisa quickly locks in a sleeper hold as the crowd begins to boo. Natalia grabs the ropes, and the referee warns Trelisa to release the hold. But before Trelisa can, Natalia rams her head backwards, catching Trelisa in the temple with the headbutt and sending her reeling. Natalia shoots back with a series of elbows, then tosses Trelisa into the ropes. Trelisa ducks the clothesline attempt and returns with an arm bar and works to lock it in. Both wrestlers go down to the mat, and Natalia uses her upper body strength to power out of the hold, but Trelisa moves quickly up and around and slaps on a crossface submission hold. Using her legs to hold Natalia's arms away from the ropes, the referee leans down to ask Natalia if she will submit. Eddie Vega, good show from Trelisa, she is using her brain to get Natalia to tap out. Natalia grimaces and leans into Trelisa's hold, then rolls up and over it to break the hold. Natalia climbs to her feet faster than Trelisa, and brings a boot down into Trelisa's skull. Trelisa bounces on the mat, coughing blood as Natalia pushes the referee to one side and continues stomping down on her opponent's head. Bringing Trelisa up with one hand, Natalia pops Trelisa in the head and locks in a double armbar. Trelisa screams and twists to break free, but Natalia has the submission hold tightly locked and Trelisa finds herself unable to break free. Shaking her head to clear it, Trelisa pops out her shoulder and twists, bringing up the boot and nails Natalia over the eye with one stiff kick. Natalia lets go of the hold and stumbles backwards as Trelisa snaps her loose arm back into the joint. Moving forward quickly, Trelisa hits a running lariat that forces Natalia out of the ring and down to the concrete floor below. Ben Price, now don't tell me that it doesn't hurt. Eddie Vega, the ladies of the CWF are tough, not just for eye candy for pervs to look at, man. Ben Price, sorry, did you just say something? Trelisa flips herself over the top rope in a flying splash, but is caught by Natalia on the outside and rammed, back first, into the steel turnbuckle. Trelisa screams in pain and collapses on the ground. Natalia grabs a chair from ringside, but the referee is out, warning her, threatening the disqualification. Grumbling, Natalia tosses the chair aside and it clatters to the ground. Natalia picks up Trelisa and launches her back into the ring under the bottom rope, then slowly climbs in after her. Trelisa holds her arm, still in pain over popping it out of joint and then being rammed into the steel. Natalia, seeing the weakness, grabs the injured arm and snaps it into a clothesline that takes Trelisa onto the mat. On her back, Trelisa kicks up with hard boots, but Natalia struggles to avoid them and drives a knee into Trelisa's injured arm. Ben Price, yeah, I see what you mean. Eddie Vega, but I didn't say anything. Natalia rolls to one side, but is not fast enough to avoid another wild kick from Trelisa that catches her in the nose and causes her to stumble back into the ropes. Natalia is dazed, and Trelisa, her arms still limp and loose, moves in and hooks in a neck bar. Natalia screams in pain, but is able to quickly hook the ropes and shoves her off. Trelisa, gasping for breath, can see herself running out of time. Unable to take the match to the mat, she is slowly but surely losing the battle to Natalia. Ben Price, Natalya is a veteran of grappling. Natalya comes off the ropes and grabs Trelisa into a full Nelson hold. Working to bring it into a dragon suplex, Trelisa hooks the leg and moves down, blocking the hold. Undaunted, Natalya and Trelisa meet in a reverse hand lock-up, but Trelisa is able to slip away and slams Natalya with another of her stiff kicks to the side of the head. Trelisa, frantic now, uses heavy chops with her strong arm to work away at the back, shoulders, neck and finally the chest of Natalya. Trelisa moves closer and attempts to slap on a double chicken wing hold, leaping onto Natalya's back for more leverage. But Natalya falls backwards, slamming back onto the mat and crushing Trelisa beneath him. But Trelisa does not let go of the hold, and both women roll toward the ropes, through them, and crash down onto the floor. Trelisa is up first, dragging Natalya to her feet. She goes to hit a powerbomb but is unable to pick her up due to her injured arm. Eddie Vega, good thinking from Natalya, take out one of Trelisa's arms and that cuts out some of her offense. Trelisa rolls Natalya back into the ring and starts laying in the boots to her. She pulls her up and slaps her straight in the face and spits in the face of Natalya, locking it in place when she hits a big-time DDT. Natalya's face just smashes into the mat. Trelisa just looks pissed off from all the damage done to her by Natalya. She pulls her back to her feet once again and hits another big-time DDT. She stands there thinking about pinning. An evil grin crosses her face as she drags up Natalya once again. Natalya reverses it and DDTs Trelisa to the mat. She climbs to the top turnbuckle and motions for Trelisa to get to her feet. Ben Price, what is she up to? Trelisa gets to her feet and groggily moves around. Natalya launches herself off the top turnbuckle. She hits Trelisa with a tilt-a-whirl head scissors, which she then transitioned into a single-arm takedown and floated over into a Fujiwara armbar on Trelisa's bad arm. Trelisa's screams can be heard all around the arena. She frantically tries to get out of the submission but finally has to tap out. Eddie Vega, she's done it. Ben Price, she made Trelisa tap out. Eddie Vega, the bad thing is, that won't go on Frank's record, but hers. Ben Price, true, but I have to say that was a great match, not what I was expecting but great. Eddie Vega, the Witch of Barrow hasn't wrestled for a major company in a decade. Ben Price, this is true but Natalya hasn't missed a step. Those war dogs sure are violent. The lights in the arena flicker. Eddie Vega, what was that? Ben Price, who knows? Maybe Natalya is watch. The big screen springs to life with static. Ben Price, what the hell is happening? The static seems to zoom back, revealing a television. A man with a scarred face with a big smile upon it, sits looking at the television. He seems mesmerized by the static on his television. He slowly raises his hands and places them on the screen of the television. He looks out at the crowd and waves enthusiastically. The screen flickers again and for a split second it was a bloody room with body bags swinging from the ceiling before it flickers back to the man looking at the screen. In the background on either side of the man are a couple of marionettes hanging from their strings. The heads slowly turn to look at the man who is just smiling at the screen. Canned laughter fills the room. Voiceover, we have all sinned in pride. So have every one of you. But that is in the past now, my children. It's time now to give over your will. It's time for chaos is what runs this world. Chaos doesn't lie to you like your gods do. The screen flickers once again and for a split second it was a hospital gurney with the figure asleep tied to it. Flames surround him before flickering back to him in the original room. Voiceover, sleep came to the regent of the charnel kingdom when he fell from grace. He has slept in a state of eternal bliss in this world of constant violence. His body burns with the desire of vengeance. The man flicks his wrist and the strings snap on the marionettes but do not fall. They straighten up as if they were in an old black and white Ray Harryhausen movie, twitching as they dance with the man still looking forward with an unnatural-looking smile upon his face. Voiceover, we all fall victim to the games wicked men play in our lives. He is no different to this sinful way. Order will crumble when he walks amongst you. An invisible stream of crackling power radiated outwards from the man as he held his arms open as the pictures flickered back to the man on the gurney. A close-up of his face as his eyes abruptly opened. A caption at the bottom of the screen flickers in flames with the words, "Be careful what you wish for he is here." The screen faded to black and went back to the arena. Ben Price, what in all that is holy was that? Eddie Vega, I have no words. Ben Price, that was creepy as hell, but it looks like one of the most infamous competitors in the squared circle has signed with the CWF. Eddie Vega, is the world ready for the return of Malachi Teeps? Ben Price, we will find out soon. But first, our first commercial break for tonight. Fed UPS. Day or night? For when you need it there, right TF now. Ben Price, welcome back. We're getting ready for a match we've been waiting since Shadow Warfare to finally have. Eddie Vega, Gabriel Tuck and Ian O'Rourke finally going to settle things in a wasteland death match. Ben Price, one of 3 extreme matches we'll have for you this evening. Let's get to the mayhem. Eric Wilson, the following contest is a wasteland's death match. The challenger, hailing from the road, Gabriel Tuck. Iron Wolf by Beast Wars begins as Gabriel Tuck walks out from the back. He howls to the fans and they howl in return. This brings out a big grin from Gabriel and he howls again to get another response. He walks down to the ring, slapping a few high fives as he makes his way. He rolls into the ring and takes his leather jacket off, setting it down in the corner of the ring. He leans in the corner to wait for the match to begin. Ben Price, so the ropes in this match have been replaced with barbed wire. There's a coal miner's glove hanging over one corner. The match really begins when someone claims the glove and then knocks the other down for the 10 count. Eddie Vega, sounds like my kind of match. So this will bury the hatchet between Gabriel and Owen? Ben Price, I don't know, but we could only hope. Eddie Vega, I would hate to see the next step. Eric Wilson, and his opponent, hailing from Leitrim, Ireland, he is Owen O'Rourke. Lights dim in the arena as guitar riffs in the arena. Then as the music reaches a high point. Oh! A soul light shines on the stage with Owen O'Rourke standing on the stage with his eyes closed, arms stretched wide and hands open. It's a smoke and mirrors. It's a day in day out prison. You're living in, it's smothering the power in you. Owen opens his eyes and lowers his arms and begins marching down the ramp. When the world's out of control. And time is always racing. Everybody has a place. Where they can let it go. Owen makes it to ringside and he stands in front of the ring. He begins cracking his neck and hopping on the sides, then he dives into the ring and rolls to stand back up with his arms stretched again with a green spotlight over him. And fall into the feeling. Take a breath and never leave it. When the world is overwhelming. Just close your eyes, and you'll find the strength to seize the day. Nothing standing in your way. Just fall into the feeling. Take a breath, it's time to let it go. It's time to let it go. Owen lowers his arms and walks around the ring, taking off his red glasses and jacket and readying for the match. Ben Price, so, Owen is still sore over the fact that Gabriel blasted him with a pair of brass knuckles after Owen accosted that referee? Eddie Vega, yep, and he's looking to finally settle the score tonight. Ben Price, this seems excessive. Don't you think? Eddie Vega, well, I mean it is wrestling. Excessive is the word. Ben Price, like grease? Eddie Vega, exactly. As the bell sounds to start the match, Gabriel and Owen rush at one another and meet in the center of the ring with their fists. They slug at each other back and forth until Gabriel staggers backward and Owen grabs him to whip him into the ropes, that are barbed wires. Gabriel puts the brakes on before he hits the wires, seeming pretty pleased with himself. He turns to see where Owen is, only to be blasted in the chest with a dropkick that sends him into the barbed wire. Gabriel pulls away from the barbed wire with a shout of pain as his arm catches on a barb and is torn. Owen meets him with a belly-to-belly suplex. He pulls Gabriel up and hits a stiff headbutt, sending Gabriel crumpling back to his knees. Owen walks over to the corner with the pole and begins climbing the corner with care to not get himself cut. Gabriel is up and grabs him from behind, hitting a German suplex. Ben Price, Owen going right for the glove. Eddie Vega, he's serious about going for the win, so yeah. Gabriel gets back to his feet, but is met by Owen, who slugs him with a hard right hand before whipping him at the barbed wire ropes again. This time, Gabriel puts the brakes on and rushes back at Owen, hitting a clothesline to take the Irishman down. He puts the boot to Owen, keeping him down for a few moments before Owen can get rolled away and back to his feet. Gabriel grabs Owen and whips him into the corner. He begins backflipping into the corner, slamming Owen in the side of the head with an elbow strike before pulling him out of the corner into a judo throw to the center of the ring. Gabriel leaps to the top turnbuckle and sails through the air, hitting a moonsault. Gabriel is back up and walks over to the corner with the pole and leaps to the top turnbuckle while Owen is curled up into a ball. Gabriel grabs the coal miner's glove and slides it onto his hand and watches as Owen slowly gets back to his feet. Gabriel leaps through the air, slamming Owen in the side of the face with a punch from the coal miner's glove that flattens Owen. Gabriel steps back to allow referee, Troy Reynolds, to begin the count. Ben Price, hey, isn't that the ref that Owen messed with to get Gabriel to hit him in the first place? Eddie Vega, you know what? I think it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Owen gets up. Gabriel walks over with the glove on and goes to strike Owen again when Owen drops to his knees and hits a low blow. Owen rolls out of the ring and reaches under it, grabbing a glove of his own before rolling back into the ring. Owen O'Rourke, I have a glove of my own. Recognize it? With a flick of his wrist, the glove becomes charged with energy as lightning pliss across his fingers. Gabriel goes to swing at him with the coal miner's glove, but Owen catches the hand and then strikes him in the chest with the lightning glove. Gabriel falls to the mat, twitching as the power courses through his body. Owen O'Rourke, see, you thought that you could disrespect me and get away with it. As Gabriel sits back up, Owen strikes him in the mouth with the lightning glove. Gabriel begins bleeding, but the blood is fried from the electrical power. Gabriel is snapped back to the mat where he bleeds from the corner of his mouth while he convulses. Owen O'Rourke, it's time you understood the penalty of crossing me. Gabriel gets to his feet but takes a midsection punch with the lightning glove. Owen holds the fist there to allow for extra power to be sent into Gabriel's form. Gabriel grits his teeth and grabs Owen by the shoulders to complete the circuit to chain shock him. Owen tries to pull his gloved hand away, but Gabriel hugs him tight to trap the glove between them. Ben Price, a vicious circle of power. Eddie Vega, I wonder who will fall first. Gabriel hits several powerful headbutts to the face of Owen until blood strings between the two and no one knows who really is bleeding if not both. Gabriel then releases Owen and they both fall to the mat. Troy Reynolds looks at them both and begins counting both of them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Gabriel gets up. 10. Eric Wilson, winner of the match, Gabriel Tuck. Gabriel walks over to the downed Owen. Gabriel Tuck, it's over. Don't be fucking with me again unless you plan on playing for keeps. Tuck then drops down, rolls out of the ring and heads to the back. Ben Price, for keeps? Does he mean to the death? Eddie Vega, I sure think so. Ben Price, that's just wrong. Eddie Vega, well, Owen better not be fucking with him anymore or he might find himself eating a bullet. Owen O'Rourke is seen taking the side of the rampway to the back. Ben Price, well, we've got a bit of time, so let's get to our first title match of the night. Eddie Vega, I'm not sure who I'd take for this one. But the 4 Wins Maelstrom Championship is on the line in an extreme dog collar match. Ben Price, Tarask is getting a shot, and Steve Murdoch is the defending champion. Let's get to more extreme, hardcore action. Eddie Vega, not to mention a bit kinky. Ben Price, what? Eddie Vega, hey, dog collars. Eric Wilson, the following contest is a Maelstrom Rules dog collar match. The first person to not answer a 10 count when knocked down will be the loser of the match. The match is also for the 4WW Maelstrom Championship. Featuring first the challenger, hailing from parts unknown, Tarask. Ladies and Gentlemen, by Saliva begins playing as Marcus Anderson walks out from the back to the cheering of the fans. He poses in presentation as Tarask walks out from the back with his arms bound in chains. He lets out a roar to the delight of the fans and shatters the chains. Tarask and Marcus head down to the ring where Marcus stays at ringside and Tarask heads into the ring to get his dog collar affixed to around his neck. Ben Price, Tarask looks ready for this. There's all kinds of weapons laying around. A few steel folding chairs, a table set up in one corner, a barbed wire kendo stick, a filled glass aquarium that has tacks in the bottom instead of gravel. Is that an explosive covered aluminum baseball bat? Eddie Vega, yes. And light bars, trash can lids, and I think just to complete the set a porcelain kitchen sink. Ben Price, there's enough here for several matches. Eddie Vega, I think that's the idea. Eric Wilson, and his opponent, he is hailing from Dallas, Texas. He is the reigning 4WW Maelstrom champion, Steve Murdoch. Darkness covers the arena as the first few guitar riffs of Down to Earth, but the new Lithium play, a red spotlight shines down center stage on Jasmine Minton and Steve Murdoch. The crowd boos the arrival of the witch with Steve Murdoch and watches while booing as she leads him down to the ring. She stays at ringside, looking across the ring over at Marcus with a smirk as Steve Murdoch gets into the ring and hands off his championship belt so he can be fitted with his dog collar. Ben Price, Steve Murdoch here for another hard fight. He knows that he already lost to Tarask once. He knows that he might lose again if he doesn't change his strategy. Eddie Vega, what is it that Jasmine has in her hot little hands? Ben Price, she's got a doll that looks a lot like Tarask. Obsessed much? Eddie Vega, I don't think that's simple obsession when it comes to Jasmine. You notice that it's a homemade doll? Ben Price, oh, I see that now. That's strange for her to have it then. Eddie Vega, we will have to watch the match to see how things turn out, but I think that the doll is going to play a part. As the bell sounds to start the match, both Tarask and Steve Murdoch pick up the chain and begin a quick tug of war to see who could pull the other toward them. Steve starts with an early advantage, pulling Tarask toward him, but Tarask roars and stops his progress with relative ease as he throws his weight into it. Step by step, Steve fights hard, but is losing ground. That is, until Jasmine pulls out a needle and stabs it into the lower back of the small doll that she's clutching. Tarask's eyes go wide and he roars in pain and is immediately pulled toward Steve, who quickly wraps the chain around his fist and slugs Tarask in the face with it to level the big man. Steve drops the chain and picks up the barbed wire kendo stick with a sadistic grin. Tarask starts to get up, blood streaming from a cut on his left cheek, when Steve brings the barbed wire kendo stick down across his back, dragging the stick across the beast's bare back to lash it open with multiple cuts from the barbed wire. Ben Price, opening minutes and it's already bloody. Tarask acting like he's in immense pain. Eddie Vega, you would be in pain too from being whipped by that barbed wire kendo stick. Tarask falls back to being on all fours and Steve makes with the bloodied barbed wire kendo stick, whipping Tarask over and over. Satisfied that Steve is inflicting plenty of bodily harm, Jasmine takes the needle out of the doll's back. Steve gets a couple of more whacks in when Tarask lunges at him, burying his head into Steve's crotch. You can see Steve's eyes cross before he falls over and curls up into a ball. Tarask stands up, blood dripping from his body already from the wounds on his back. Ben Price, now, that is going to leave a mark. Eddie Vega, right? Black and blue balls. Tarask grabs Steve by the back of the neck and drags him over to the 10-gallon aquarium that's filled with water and has thumbtacks in place of gravel at the bottom. He shoves Steve's face into the water, overflowing water spilling out to the mat. Steve struggles with Tarask's grip, but can't get himself out of the water. Ben Price, Tarask is going to drown him? Eddie Vega, sure seems that way. At ringside, Jasmine contemplates using the needle again when Marcus jumps up onto the ring apron. Marcus Anderson, Tarask. Don't kill him. Tarask looks over at Marcus and Marcus can see that his expression is glazed over with rage, but softens when he hears Marcus' voice. Steve uses the distraction to gather the chain around his hand and punch the side of the aquarium to shatter the glass and empty out the water so that he can breathe. Tarask pulls Steve out of the aquarium and tosses him to the side. He lifts up the remains of the aquarium overhead and walks over to the downed Steve Murdoch, who is trying to catch his breath. He goes to hurl the aquarium when Jasmine presses a needle into the side of Tarask's right knee. Tarask lets out a yell of pain and drops the aquarium onto his own head, shattering the rest of it and scattering the tacks everywhere that don't immediately stick into his body. Tarask drops to his knees and grasps at his right leg in pain even as he bleeds from hundreds of cuts. Ben Price, what is wrong with Tarask? Eddie Vega, could it be that doll that Jasmine has that you wondered if it was a voodoo doll? She has been stabbing it. Ben Price, oh right. That's probably it. Eddie Vega, now if Marcus could only notice it and put a stop to it. Steve Murdoch gets up and pulls Tarask up before dropping him again in a drop toe hold that sends Tarask chest first into the tacks and broken glass from the aquarium. Steve kicks Tarask in the ribs a few times and backs up so that the referee can count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tarask slowly struggles to his feet. He limps towards Steve, who hits several European uppercuts. Jasmine takes the needle out of the doll and jams it into the lower back of the doll. Tarask drops to his knees and roars in pain as Steve whips the chain to him across the mouth with it to send blood and spittle across the mat. Jasmine laughs as she takes the needle out of the doll and Steve smashes Tarask with the chain again. Steve Murdoch, you say you're strong, but I see no evidence of it. Who's strong now? Who? Steve swings the chain again, but this time Tarask catches it and brings it down to smash Steve in the shin. Steve opens his mouth wide to yell in pain and Tarask grabs him by the shoulders and spits a tooth straight into Steve's open mouth. Steve drops the chain and begins to backpedal, coughing and choking on the tooth until he coughs it onto the mat. He goes to look to see where Tarask is again, only to have the porcelain kitchen sink shattered against the side of his head. He drops to his knees and then flat onto his face, blood streaming from a gash in his temple. Ben Price, that was gross. Eddie Vega, you do what you got to, I guess. Tarask backs up as the ref gets in there to begin counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Steve Murdoch gets up. Ben Price, I don't know if that was the wisest thing in the world to do. Eddie Vega, he probably doesn't know what he's doing anymore. Tarask walks over and wraps the chain around Steve Murdoch's neck and gets him up into a press slam position. He walks towards the ropes, clearly intending to throw him out when Jasmine inserts the needle in between the doll's shoulder blades. Tarask howls in pain and drops Steve Murdoch onto his own head. Steve reacts by grabbing Tarask around the head and dating him onto the chain. Ben Price, oh. That's gonna leave a mark. Eddie Vega, you know it. The ref begins to count Tarask out as he lays on the mat and twitches in pain. Marcus notices Jasmine with the doll and takes action. 1, 2, 3, 4. Marcus rounds the ring and grabs Jasmine, hitting a flatliner. 5, 6. Marcus picks the doll up and pulls the needle out. 7, 8, 9. Tarask gets up. Steve Murdoch sees Jasmine down and picks up the explosive baseball bat. Steve Murdoch, you know. I'm a champion, that's the way it's gonna stay. No matter the cost. Steve swings the baseball bat at Tarask, who picks up a folding chair to use as a shield. The bat hits the chair and an explosion goes off, bouncing the bat right back into Steve's face where it explodes again. Steve is leveled by his own attack. Tarask leans in a corner and watches as the referee steps in to count Steve out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ding. 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 Eric Wilson, winner of the match and new 4WW Maelstrom champion, Tarask. Ben Price, Steve Murdoch out cold. Jasmine Minton out cold. What a night. Eddie Vega, a new Maelstrom champion, and one has to ask, who would be able to take that title from Tarask? Ben Price, not sure, and we heard recently that another federation has joined the 4WW, and they've got a couple of hardcore icons over there as well. Eddie Vega, I say, let them try. Ben Price, well, now we need to get to one more commercial break here. When we come back. Dee and Abigail Dresden. Eddie Vega, kinda looking forward to this one. I'm liking Dresden's new attitude. Ben Price, and I'm not sure any of the upstarts are here tonight after what happened with Miguel Lanza on Vanguard. There won't be anyone to stop her tonight as she's also in the NKO. Hydrant. It's like Tinder, but for dogs. Coming back from commercial, CWF cameras pan the sold-out Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. Jammed to the rafters with the CWF faithful, signs are shown on the Conquestatron 5000. Putting in D back in D Enver. Riot needs a paternity test. Bit Lucador for president. Riot owes child support, and Monster Mammoth is probably from Denver, stick out amongst the sea of humanity. We're taken to the old school announce crew of Joseph Greer and Tommy Onions, standing out in the aisle. Ben Price, welcome back to Warzone, where the squeegee crew is just about done cleaning up after the carnage we just witnessed. Now we're just moments away from a match made as a result of Abigail Dresden sticking her nose. Eddie Vega, I'ma stop you right there, Benny boy. She went out and made a statement to dear old dad and the returning D and everyone on the roster, and now is about to. Ben Price, pay for it? Because I'm told the Enigma is hell-bent on embarrassing the young lady. Eddie Vega, she has everything needed to be a bigger star than dear OL, mommy or daddy could have ever dreamed of. Especially now that she's aligned with the Vaughn Crosses and the NKO. Ben Price, that's a bold claim if I ever heard one. But speaking of Ms. Dresden's biological father, I'm getting reports in my headset that our backstage cameras have caught up with a man who faced him recently, and her opponent tonight, D, is backstage. Eddie Vega, you get reports and shit? What a ripoff. Eddie is silenced by the scene changing drastically, going from a capacity arena to an intimate corner of Ball Arena. A CWF camera bounds up and down, slowly approaching a lone figure, an odd-shaped piece of metal producing a thin stream of smoke sit at their side. Staying at a safe distance, the cameraman steadies himself and zooms in, confirming that it is, in fact, D. Sat in some dim corner of the bowels of the arena, D was already dressed, his ring gear checked and rechecked, his face paint applied, and was far away from the rest of the roster, secluded by his own volition. The allure of the handshakes and brother talk of the locker room had long ago lost its sheen. Sat alone with his eyes closed, he's meditating. Our wayward metal object is revealed, on closer inspection, to be a small coal brazier. Made of brass and used by the Enigma's faith to burn incense, he wasn't just meditating, he was envisioning what he was about to do. Inspiration through visualization, as it were. Footsteps approach and a figure overtakes the scene briefly as they step into frame, drawing a cheer from the crowd. It's none other than 4WW champion, Rob Riot. Also ready for battle, the Blackpool Brawler assesses the situation a moment, choosing not to announce himself. It was likely D expected this visit anyway. Rob Riot, you'll set off a sprinkler with that thing one day. The Riot star quips, kneeling down long enough to light a cigarette off the brazier's coals. Rob Riot, mark my words. He finishes, taking a deep drag as he stands up. Without opening his eyes, D allows himself a slight smile as he responds. D, not before you do. Riot half smiles and nods, and then pulls his phone out of his pocket, pulling something up. After a pause of a couple of seconds, he begins to read aloud from the screen. Rob Riot, you weren't raised to be anything more than this. You weren't molded to be anything more than a child pawn ordered to stick her nose into the business of others. The lines come from Dee's pre-show promo. Dee opens his mouth to respond. Riot shuts him down. Rob Riot, no, no, no. There's more. Let me find it. Ah, here we are. You were led here by people you should have been able to trust. Mother. Father. Whatever you call them, they failed you, and left you to be picked up by even worse role models. Remember the real lesson here, your parents never loved you. And that's not your fault either. Do I owe you money, old friend? Does my daughter? Dee finally opens his eyes. He's still half smiling. Dee, when I said those things, my intention was to get inside Abigail's head. I didn't realize that I'd also get inside yours. Have you really become so vulnerable since I've been away? Rob Riot, I didn't have a daughter before you went away. Or, at least, I didn't know I had one. Dee, and so in becoming a father again, you've been forced to show weakness. Rob Riot, no. I've fought Abigail in the ring. Her existence doesn't make me weaker. I've known her for barely a year, how could it? And how could I have failed her as a role model if I wasn't there to be one? Dee, if it's impossible to have failed her, why take offense at the suggestion? And why take offense to that aspect specifically, rather than the idea that her parents never loved her? That seems to leave the Riot star speechless for a second. Rob takes another drag on the cigarette as Dee watches him pace back and forth across the room. Without anything more coming from Riot, he makes an observation. Dee, perhaps I was wrong. Perhaps you do love her, and you've come here to beat me to a pulp for suggesting otherwise. And yet here I sit, sensing no threat from you at all. Rob Riot, you know. He pauses, and moderates his tone. Rob Riot, you, more than almost anybody else alive today, know my failings as a father. You know who Sammy was and what he did to me. I am not who or what anybody would want as a father. If you want to speak that truth to a camera, go ahead and do it. But don't drag her mother. Dee, and there it is. Riot arches an eyebrow. Dee, that's what really angered you. It wasn't that I disrespected Abigail. It was that I disrespected Valora. Congratulations, old comrade. I think you might actually be in love. I scarcely believed it to be possible. Rob Riot, don't attempt to give me lessons in love, Dee. There's a reporter running around here tonight who'd give both of her arms to get a text back from you. She can't find you, and yet I did. That means you're hiding from her. Tell me, after coming all this way to see Alyssa again, why are you so scared of actually doing it? For the first time, Dee's zen-like expression changes. He reaches out and turns the brazier over. The mood of meditation has been spoiled. With a grunt, like Riot, he feels the age in his knees these days. He brings himself to his feet. Dee, I'll answer that if you answer me this. Why take issue with me disrespecting Valora when the whole world can see you don't take issue with the people who do it right under your nose? Riot snorts. Rob Riot, I am very aware of that perception. I can assure you that it's going to change very shortly. But that's not what I came here to discuss. Dee, then what did you come here to discuss? Rob Riot, Abigail. Dee, then talk. The Riot star sighs, and shakes his head a little. He's reluctant to do this. Rob Riot, she, isn't herself, at the moment. She's under malign control, as you recognize. Whatever Esmeralda and Armand did to her, it means she's not thinking clearly. She was under their control when she interfered in our match last week, and she'll be under their control when you fight her tonight. I'm not asking you to go easy on her. I just... Another pause. Rob Riot, destroying her won't stop them. Please bear that in mind. At the moment, she's just a tool. If you break a tool, they'll just make another one. The smile has returned to Dee's face. Dee, well. You call yourself a bad father, and then you find me to plead mercy for your daughter. Only I can't grant it. Rob Riot, This time, the enigma cuts him off. Dee, you brought me here to help you fight a war. If I'm going to fight it, I'm going to fight it to the best of my abilities. That includes doing the things that you can't. If you can't take down your own daughter, I understand. But right now, someone has to, and I'm the one best placed. He looks his old friend up and down. Dee, we used to fight for the greater good, you and I, have faith that I still do. Dee pats Riot on the shoulder, and walks away. It's time for him to go to Gorilla for his match. A little ruefully, but not without admiration, Riot turns to watch him go and mutters under his breath. Rob Riot, he hasn't changed a bit. Ben Price, and we're coming to our next match. Abigail Dresden taking on the returning Dee. Dee has promised to make Abigail pay a price for aligning with Armand and Esmeralda von Krauss and for taking part in the assault on Dee and Greg Salazar last cycle. Eddie Vega, if he plans to fight everyone who gets involved in his matches, even if only from last Warzone, he'll spend an entire season doing nothing but. Eric Wilson, ladies and gentlemen, the next match is set for one fall. Introducing first. Hailing from parts unknown. He stands 6 feet, 1 inch tall and weighs in at 213 pounds. He is the Enigma, Dee. Freak by Silverchair plays over the PA and Dee makes his way down to the ring, climbing in and leaning against the turnbuckle in one of the corners. Ben Price, Dee making his way to the ring and seems to be just waiting for the arrival of his opponent. Eddie Vega, well, this isn't his old friend, Rob Riot. This is Abigail Dresden. She beat the CWF Conquest champion last Warzone and she won't be pulling any punches here tonight either. Eric Wilson, and introducing his opponent. Hailing from Swansea, Wales, United Kingdom. Standing 5 feet 9 inches tall and weighs in at 175 pounds. She is the 4 Wins Albion champion, Abigail Dresden. Save Me by Lacuna Coil comes on over the PA and Abigail comes out, briefly singing before switching up. Abigail Dresden, that's right, someone save me from this drab, dreary dotard, named Dee. This deliriously dull and disastrously decimated, dastardly smooth-brained bellend who has recklessly designated his arse for dismemberment. Put the kiddies to bed, because tonight the demons of the night are coming and I'm about to dedicate this Samhain horror story to the ignominious death of the rated D degenerate and detestable reprobate, the decaying walking corpse that is. Little Dee. In the ring, Dee borrows Eric Wilson's mic and smirks. Dee, oh, you are most definitely his daughter. Enjoy the wit while you can, your vocabulary won't save you once the bell rings. Ben Price, Abigail makes her way to the ring, continuing from where her promo left off on picking on Dee's one-letter name. Eddie Vega, while we're waiting for the official start to this match, where do you stand, Benny boy? Abigail and the upstarts have a point and the older generation needs to step aside, or veterans are right and these damn kids don't want to earn anything? Ben Price, I think it's a bit of both. Veteran talent does, at times, seem to intentionally or unintentionally squash opportunity for the younger wrestlers, but by the same token, the younger talent can, at times, be too impatient in seeking opportunities to carve out their own legacy, and they can also forget that the previous generation has paved the way for the current crop of youngsters. I also think Abby would do well to learn where hubris gets someone before she does her own impression of Icarus. Eddie Vega, well, to be fair, both Rob Riot and Valora Salinas were accused of being arrogant, disrespectful youths in their day, and now both are legit living legends. Sometimes in this business you have to go out there and seize your own destiny. Look at Lady Lana. She waited for the veterans and the powers that be to decide her turn had come and got nothing. But she aligns with the Carnival, gets angry during her match and goes out and grabs herself a win. Ben Price, I'm still disappointed by Lana. And by Valora letting her get away with it. Eddie Vega, hey. She's right though. You laid your hands on a wrestler, first. Ashley Beaton gives her instructions to the fighters and Abigail takes her jacket off and Eric Wilson takes that and her Albion title and leaves the ring as Ashley Beaton calls for the bell. Ding! Ding! As the match starts, Dee says something to Abby who yawns and makes the talking gesture with her hand. Dee shrugs and urges Abby to attack him and she obliges by charging forward and hits Dee with a clothesline that rocks him a bit but does not knock him down. Abigail hits him with a knife-edged chop and then hits him with a right hook to the ribs and then hits a European uppercut. Dee absorbs the blows and makes the SOSO hand gesture. Abby stomps on Dee's foot and throws a left punch to the head, and then rebounds off the ropes, hitting a clothesline. Going back and trying another clothesline before turning and hitting a discus-style clothesline that again rocks Dee but does not knock him down. Ben Price, well, this certainly is an interesting tactic. Dee seems to be encouraging Abby to attack her and then seems to be deliberately trying to irk her. Eddie Vega, well, maybe he's hoping that Abigail inherited some of Valoris' infamous Latin temper? Abby presses the attack, hitting Dee with a boot to the gut and then tries for a DDT but Dee counters, shrugging Abby off and sending her into the ropes. He telegraphs the backdrop and Abby jumps over him and continues to the ropes on the other side of the ring. Dee runs to the ropes he faces and both fighters charge towards each other. Dee tries for a bicycle-style kick but Abby counters with a baseball slide, coming up and hitting him in back of the knee with a drop kick. She then rebounds off the rope and plants him with a running bulldog. Pulling Dee to his feet, Abby tries once more for a DDT but Dee chooses now to counter-attack, hitting a headbutt and then plants Abby with a belly-to-belly suplex. Ben Price, well, it seems Dee is slowly moving into the counter-attack phase. It does seem like his tactic has been effective so far as he has succeeded in frustrating Abigail. Eddie Vega, yeah, but sometimes frustrating an opponent is just a good way to get an ass-kicking too. Which might be why he's starting to fight back a bit now. Dee drags Abigail up to her feet and whips her into a corner. Abby slams into the corner hard and Dee charges in after her but she jumps and gets a foot up, knocking Dee back. She hops up onto the turnbuckle and jumps off trying to a Hurricane Rana but Dee counters and plants Abby onto the mat with a powerbomb. Dee moves in and covers but Abby kicks out before Ashley Beaton gets into position to count. Dee shakes his head and pulls Abby to her feet. Abby counters with a jawbreaker, following up with a European uppercut and then whips Dee into the ropes. Dee rebounds off the ropes and tries for a clothesline but Abby ducks. Both fighters rebound off the ropes and Dee tries for a spear but Abby jumps over him. Dee turns around and charges after Abby who jumps onto the ropes and springboards off, nailing Dee plush in the face with a dropkick that finally takes Dee off his feet. Ben Price, my God, what an exchange. These two are really having a chess match of a match here as both fighters try to gain an edge over the other. Eddie Vega, it looks like a pinfall coming. Abby does indeed dive over and make a cover. Ashley Beaton slides in and makes the count. 1. Ben Price, Dee kicks out after 1. Eddie Vega, it would seem he's going to continue trying to get under her skin. Abigail lets out a frustrated sigh and grabs Dee's head and bashes it into the mat until Ashley Beaton steps in and orders Abby to break it up. Abigail looks around, contemplating her next move as Dee slowly gets to his feet. Getting inspiration, Abby runs and jumps onto Dee's back and locks in a sleeper hold, wrapping her legs around his ribs to make it harder for him to get oxygen. Dee drops to a knee as he struggles to breathe. Ashley Beaton checks for a submission but notices Abigail has locked in a choke hold and orders Abby to break the hold. Abby waits until just before the 5 count to break the hold and yells at Ashley Beaton. While Abby argues with the ref, Dee shakes his head, getting his air back and moves over, spinning Abby around. Abby ducks under the blow from Dee and jumps up, hitting Dee with her variation of the Pele kick which sends Dee stumbling. Dee rolls out of the ring and seems to be trying to recover. Abby decides not to let him and rebounds off the ropes and dives through the ropes in a suicide dive. Dee seemed ready for this and moves, and Abby misses big going head first into the barricades, bringing a loud "oh-ch-ch-ch" from the crowd. Ben Price, and that, folks, is why it's called high-risk maneuvers. Though she usually prefers to stay on the ground, Abigail was trained by Valoris Salinas and can fly when the occasion calls for it. This time though, well, it's called a suicide dive for a reason, folks. Eddie Vega, yeah, but it's only a mistake if he can capitalize on it. Dee shakes his head and taps the side of his head, indicating he had, in fact, anticipated the move. He drags Abby to her feet and throws her head and shoulder first into the steel steps. Ashley Beaton, watch the steps. Get back in the ring. Dee grins and plays innocent, claiming he missed. Ashley begins the 10 count and Dee comes into the ring, breaking up the 10 count before running to the ropes and going airborne as he soars over the ropes and slams into Abby as she gets back to her feet, hitting her with his signature twisting plancha-style move that wipes both fighters out and brings the crowd to their feet. Ashley Beaton rolls her eyes and begins the 10 count once more. Ben Price, my God. The area at ringside looks like a car wreck. Both fighters are down and Ashley Beaton has once more started the 10 count. Eddie Vega, why is she counting? We can't have a double count out here. Both fighters slowly fight their way to their feet and Dee moves over, picking Abby up and dropping her face first on the steel steps. He starts to follow up the attack but Abby hits him with a back kick to the groin. She then grabs Dee and spins around and throws him head first into the barricades. She then slides into the ring to break up the 10 count. Ben Price, Abby gets lucky there that Ashley Beaton didn't seem to see that groin kick. Eddie Vega, hey now, Dee used the steel steps. I think Ashley Beaton just decided to focus on trying to get things back in the ring. Dee also makes his way back into the ring and Abby cuts him off by kicking and stomping on him as he tries to get in. Finally, she pulls him to his feet and sends him into the ropes but Dee counters and sends Abby into the ropes and rebounds off the ropes. Dee tries for a clothesline but Abby ducks under the clothesline and comes to a stop, turning and hitting Dee with her version of the Pele kick. She then jumps onto the ropes and springboards off into a moonsault. Ben Price, well, Dee seemed to get the better of the brawl at ringside, but Abby has managed to regain control of the match. Undeterred by the miss of the suicide dive, she went for the moonsault and hit this time. Eddie Vega, her mother must like that. Abby goes right for the cover from the moonsault. Ashley Beaton again drops down and makes the count. 1, 2. Ben Price, again Dee kicks out. Eddie Vega, Abby is not happy either. Abigail jumps up and gets in Ashley's face. Abigail Dresden, don't you know how to bloody count? 123. Ashley Beaton, back off Dresden. Focus on the fight. Abby raises a fist but Ashley doesn't back down, pointing to the CWF logo on her shirt. Ashley Beaton, lay a hand on me and I'll DQ you. The argument ends as Dee grabs Abby from behind and rolls her up into a small package. Ashley drops down and counts. 1. Abby kicks out and both fighters come to their feet and hit each other with a clothesline as both fighters try the same move at the same time. Ben Price, both fighters seem to be thinking the same thing there as we get a pair of tandem clotheslines. But we also can't skip the fact that Abigail is continuing to grow frustrated here. Eddie Vega, well, she's had some help from both her opponent and the ref in that aspect. Ben Price, what's that mean? Ashley Beaton has called the match right down the middle. Eddie Vega, Abigail doesn't seem to agree with you and she never argues with the ref, so therefore, Ashley Beaton must be in the wrong. Dee gets to his feet and tries to attack Abby from behind. Abby somehow seems to sense this coming and runs off to the side. Dee manages to stop his attack short before hitting Ashley Beaton but is taken out by Abigail, who hits a springboard dropkick. She hops up to her feet and rebounds off the ropes, hits Dee once more, hitting a running bulldog on Dee as he gets to his feet. She pulls Dee up to his feet and locks in and hits a double arm DDT. Ben Price, double arm DDT from Abby as this battle continues to tilt back and forth. Eddie Vega, yeah, well, sooner or later, someone has to win, right? Abby makes another cover attempt and Ashley Beaton drops down and counts. 1, 2. THNO. Ben Price, THRNO. Dee kicks out at the last second, and that kick out seems to have been the final nail in the coffin. Eddie Vega, she's been screwed over all match. Ben Price, I'll say karma's a bitch and leave it at that. Eddie Vega, I wonder if I can convince Abby to knock you out. Maybe every week we can convince a different member of the NKO to knock out Benny Boy. Abby glares at Ashley Beaton and, while the ref's back is turned, reaches into her pants pocket and loads her fist up. Dee gets to his feet and turns to face Abby, who nails him with a powerful punch and sends Dee to the mat in a heap. Ashley Beaton pounces before Abby can get rid of the evidence, however, finding the illegal object and shaking her head. Ashley Beaton, that's it. Ring the damn bell. Ding. Ding. Abby loses her cool again, follows this up by decking Ashley Beaton, sending her to the ground, and stands in the ring, as if she won the match, before she gets out of the ring, making her way over to Eric Wilson and grabs her Albion title and other effects. Eric Wilson, ladies and gentlemen, referee Ashley Beaton has disqualified Abigail Dresden for use of an illegal object. The winner, by DQ, D. Ben Price. Okay, this is getting ridiculous. For the second show in a row, Abigail has taken a low road to victory, only this time, Leroy Wallace wasn't there to cover for her. Someone needs to do something. Eddie Vega, too bad her mother is in charge of the wrestlers. I don't see any punishment coming her way. HHA. Abby makes her way up the rampway but comes to a stop as I Feel You by Depeche Mode plays and Rob Riot comes out. Abby pauses a moment and watches her father, unsure of the reason for his appearance. He comes out and points to the ring. Rob Riot, what the bloody hell are you playing at? He points to the backstage area. Rob Riot, you think Armand and Esmeralda care about you? You want to be their lackey? He seems about to say more, but Abby cuts him off with an open palm slap. Abigail Dresden, like you and Mom have any bloody room to talk. Also, I don't need your help, I was able to do something you couldn't. I beat Cronin. Ben Price, you going to defend that? Eddie Vega, No. Abby is almost to the backstage area when the Tron comes to life and shows Valora sitting in her office. Valora Salinas, not so fast, chica. Abby stops and looks up at Valora. Valora Salinas, you're suspended for one show cycle. By that I mean you're banned from CWF venues. Test me on this, chica, and you'll find yourself fighting me. Ben Price, huh? I'm actually pleasantly surprised. Valora lays down the law and in so doing, manages to take one of the Von Cross's new lackeys away from them. Eddie Vega, yeah, but will Abby take it that way, or will Dee's words take deeper root in her mind now? Ben Price, well, I'm told we're going into our next match. Riot's already been out here. So let's move on to the CWF Tag Team titles. Eddie Vega, finally the Bastards get their shot at Tag Team Gold. Eric Wilson, the following matchup is scheduled for one fall and is for the CWF Tag Team Championships. Introducing first. Beep. Click. Beep beep. Click. The electronic opening to Manson's Take It Easy, Chicken pipes into the arena, shortly followed by the scream of the opening guitar riff. It's Bastards time. Red, white, and blue lights pick out the entranceway as the crowd stands up, waiting to catch a glimpse of the Englishman. Some of them cheer, some of them boo, but all of them react. Eric Wilson, they come in at a combined 460 lbs. The future Eddie Williams and the Four Winds champion, Rob Riot, they are the Bastards. The curtains part as a battered old Ford Cortina messily careers its way through the curtains, coming to an awkward stop at the top of the ramp. After a moment, the two members of the Bastards in this match, Eddie Williams and Rob Riot, step out of the back, taking a second to mug for the crowd. Satisfied that everybody's got the photo they wanted, they nod to each other and then charge the ring, sliding in through the bottom rope. Eric Wilson and their opponents, the defending CWF Tag Team Champions. They come in at a combined 510 lbs. The Paragon, Gregory Salazar, and the CWF Conquest Champion, Cronin Reinhardt. They are bad company. Bad Company by Five Finger Death Punch, with special guest vocals from the three-member of the Bad Company stable starts to play on the arena's sound system. Both Salazar and Reinhardt walk out onto the ramp, wearing the CWF Tag Team title belts, and the 4 WW Dyad titles over their shoulders. Cronin is also holding the CWF Conquest Championship over his other shoulder. Ring attendants both come up to them, and take the extra titles now. But the one working with Cronin Reinhardt hands him a microphone. Cronin Reinhardt, I've got a bit of business to take care of first. Ben Price, what's going on here? Eddie Vega, bah, who knows? He turns to his tag team partner, and grins. Cronin Reinhardt, seems that last week someone had a birthday. In fact he and a very good friend, his wife, have the same birthday. Both are now 28 years old, and it's been an honor to become their friends and stablemates. So, happy late birthday on air, Greg. He turns to the camera. Cronin Reinhardt, and you too, in the back Callie. And yes, Lily put me up to this. Ben Price, a late birthday wish for the Salazars. Interesting that they share the same birthday. Eddie Vega, so sappy. Ben Price, that does lead to a weird thing there. Both of the Salazars are born on the same day, and as I understand it were born in the same hospital, just a few hours apart. Eddie Vega, that's some weird shit there. Who is older? Ben Price, the voice in our headphones says Callie is. Greg puts his hand up for a fist bump, and Cronin accepts it. Then they both break for a run to the ring, sliding under the bottom rope. They both hand the CWF Tag Team titles to the referee, Erica Costa Alvarez. She holds them up as Eric Wilson exits the ring. Before she calls for the bell, Salazar walks over to Riot and extends his hand to him. Riot nods and takes it for a shake. Riot also says something to him, that might be a late happy birthday as well. Salazar motions between Riot and Reinhardt. Reinhardt steps over and extends his hand. The crowd goes nuts seeing this. Riot looks out into the crowd in both directions before taking Cronin's hand and shaking it. Eddie Vega, ugh, now this here makes me sick. It's wrestling. Just take each other's head off already. Salazar takes a few steps over to Williams, who waves him off and heads to the corner. Eddie Vega, that's more like it. Eric Wilson, ladies and gentlemen, I'm being told from the back to make a supplementary announcement. I've just been informed that this match has been declared to be a grudge match based on the past between the Bastards and Bad Company, and it is now no disqualification. Riot and Salazar both look at each other and smirk. Salazar wags his finger in the air and points to the stage. The camera picks him up. Greg Salazar, to quote Mad Max. That is a trap. Riot nods, followed by Reinhardt's acknowledgement. Ben Price, I think they're right there. That's got Armand von Kraus written all over it. Eddie Vega, can't deny that one. But who voted with him for this? He doesn't have controlling interest anymore. So one of the other two had to agree to it as well. Ben Price, well, that favors the Bastards, so it would have to be Salinas? Eddie Vega, you said it, I didn't. Remember that when she comes out here for your head. Ben Price, but that begs to question as well. Why would Von Kraus give Riot the upper hand here? Eddie Vega, Benny boy, do you even realize that in the Bad Guys or Wrestling 101, that also means others can get involved and help shape the outcome? Ben Price, oh, it does, doesn't it? Eddie Vega, yes, yes it does. Costa Alvarez signals for the bell. Ding. Ding. Riot and Williams seem to decide that Williams will be starting for them. Williams motions for Cronin to start, but GMS motions for him to get out of the ring, and he'll start. Cronin agrees. ADN climbs out to the apron, going over the top rope. Greg Salazar, hey, no one wants to see you and him. They want to see him and Riot. So you and I are going to start this dance. Williams shakes his head, and then moves in to lock up with Salazar. Reinhardt heads over to a neutral corner in view behind them. Salazar breaks the lockup quickly and whips Williams to Bad Company's corner. Reinhardt comes running in on the apron for a huge clothesline on Williams. It's followed up by a running roaring elbow from Salazar. Ben Price, and already some team tactics here by the tag team champions. Eddie Vega, what I want to know is why Salazar is in there. It was Team Reinhardt that won the titles. Ben Price, and they've been told they can use the Freebird rule. It was Salazar and Kara Reinhardt to defend it against the Carnival at Shadow Warfare and led to the Carnival being fired and, well, what we had to cut away from, mauled I guess? Eddie Vega, yeah, I was trying to forget that. Salazar pulls Williams out of the corner, and ripcords him into what would be an iron fist, but Williams manages to duck under it. He breaks into a run and hits the ropes to come off the second rope in a springboard crossbody. He quickly tries to go for a pinfall. 1. Salazar tries to lock in a leg-based submission hold, and Williams scrambles out of it. Williams heads to his corner quickly and tags in Rob Riot. Riot takes his time getting into the ring. Ben Price, and the Bastards going for an early tag. Salazar gets up quickly and nods to Riot. He then motions to Reinhardt, asking if he'd want to get in. Cronin nods and puts his hand out. Riot gets ready, as Salazar strolls over to his corner and tags in the Conquest Champion to a huge pop from the crowd. Riot and Reinhardt meet in the middle of the ring, as the crowd comes to their feet and cheer. Riot and Cronin stare at each other for a few seconds and lock up. This shows the huge size difference between the two. Riot appears to get the upper hand, quickly, pulling it into a side headlock and then an attempted headlock driver, but Reinhardt drops to one knee to block it. Ben Price, and this here is something that many people have been wanting to see in the CWF. Eddie Vega, I'm surprised to say this, but I think other than Urban Warfare, these two have never actually been in the ring together, especially not being the only ones in the ring. Reinhardt wraps his arms around Riot and powers up, taking him up and over in a back suplex. Riot doesn't stay down long, taking the hit and rolling back up to his feet. Both men come up and look at each other. Reinhardt makes the move first, locking up with Riot, and this time, it's Cronin who locks in a side headlock. Riot doesn't panic and gives a few elbow blows to Cronin's gut. Cronin feigns the headlock driver, and when Riot counters by dropping to a knee, Cronin powers Riot up for a high-angle backdrop. Riot counters by rolling back and landing on his feet. He locks Cronin up in a rear waistlock and tries for a German suplex, but Cronin widens his base and blocks. Riot tries again, but Cronin blocks and reverses, moving into a rear waistlock. Riot tries for a snapmare takedown. Cronin transitions to a side headlock, and then the two break the hold and end up standing face to face once more, bringing a loud ovation at the skilled technical wrestling, Cronin and Riot giving each other a single nod as both men acknowledge the skills of the other. Ben Price, a fine display by two masters of technical wrestling. Eddie Vega, dude, it ended in a stalemate. Riot tries a new tactic and hits Cronin with a knife-edge chop on the chest. Cronin responds with an open palm slap on the pecs of Riot that brings Riot to a knee, gritting his teeth. Cronin picks Riot and lifts him into a military press, pressing him before tossing him up and letting him land face first. Riot hits the mat and comes up and charges, hitting Cronin behind the knee with a chop block, bringing Cronin to a knee as he comes around, brings Cronin to the mat with his trademark Eat Defeat move. Ben Price, they're happy. They're picking up the pace a bit now. Eddie Vega, yes, I am happy. Let's see which of these two is really the top dog. Riot pulls Cronin to his feet, and Cronin counters with a punch to the gut and sends Riot into the ropes, and as Riot rebounds off the ropes, Cronin catches him and picks him up, rotating twice before planting Riot on the mat with his variation of the black hole slam. Ben Price, beautiful disaster. For those keeping count at home, both Riot and Cronin have hit one of their trademark moves on the other. Eddie Vega, but they still haven't gotten an edge over each other. Back in the ring, Cronin pulls Riot to his feet and measures him before hitting a right-handed punch that brings Riot to a knee. Riot counters by making it look like he's going to punch but kicking Cronin in the gut, and is about to hit Cronin with a DDT when The crowd lights up as 5 people make their way out of the crowd. The NKO are in the house. Ben Price, there they are. Eddie Vega, but who are they out here for? Riot? Salazar? Reinhardt? Ben Price, yes. Riot, Salazar, and Reinhardt all get into the ring, and watch as the Sharks are surrounding them. Williams takes a chance and delivers a low blow on Reinhardt. As the big man drops down, Riot slaps him on the shoulder and points around the ring. Williams just shrugs and starts to put the boots to Reinhardt. Williams, whatever it takes, right? Riot and Salazar both look to be about to break that up when both Lana and Perrault make their runs for 2 separate corners from the outside. They bound up to the top and then come off. Lana's attempt at a flying crossbody on Riot, which he catches her and takes her over with a fall-away slam. Perrault meets a springboard flying sidekick from GMS. Ben Price, some dissension in the ranks for the bastards here. What is Williams doing? Eddie Vega, trying to win the CWF Tag Team titles. Ben Price, but the low blow? Eddie Vega, hey, he didn't make it no DQ. We already said that would favor the bastards. Suddenly a collection of masked people, all various shapes and sizes, hit the ring. They're all wearing matching uniforms, and masks similar to monster mammoths, but with different extinct animals. As they hit the ring, Salazar and Riot both start to try to fight them. A couple of them fall on Williams and Reinhardt and start to beat on them as well. Ben Price, what the hell? Who are these people? Eddie Vega, not sure, but I'm hoping to get some answers from the back here. Ben Price, well, they're not picking a side here. Are we going to get a bullshit ending? We get the Conquest champion and the 4 Wins champion in a match finally and we'll have the match thrown out? Eddie Vega, doesn't look like it. It's no DQ. Reinhardt makes his way to a vertical position by sliding out of the ring. He starts throwing masked freaks every which way, with 1 and 2 hands. Riot is suddenly pulled from the ring by Mad Morales and Monster Mammoth, dropping him face first to the floor. Morales starts to kick Riot while he's down while Monster Mammoth climbs up into the ring. Ben Price, well, indiscriminate mayhem here. Why aren't they calling for the bell? Eddie Vega, nothing has happened against the rules yet. Lady Lana comes out of the ring via a tope suicida that pushes Reinhardt lower back first against the barricade. Trelisa Perrault tries to get Riot with a low DDT on the outside, but he pulls her legs out from under her. They start to fight on the floor, as the freaks also get involved. As soon as Mammoth enters the ring, Greg Salazar is right there, hitting him with a spinning back fist while he's going between the ropes. Williams tosses one of the freaks over the top rope, landing him right on top of another one that was trying to throw fists on Riot. Ben Price, what is going on? And there were 5, where is Dresden? Eddie Vega, not sure. Too many people out here with all these masked freaks. As Reinhardt and Riot both fight off Lana and Perrault, and the freaks of the night outside, things are really starting to happen inside the ring. In the ring, Salazar and Mammoth are trading rights and lefts. Williams appears to be taking a moment to recover, and letting the 2 of them fight it out. Dresden can be seen climbing up to the top turnbuckle from the outside. Mad Morales slides into the ring with a chair. Williams spins him around a bit and catches Morales with a kick to the midsection, causing him to drop the chair. Williams butterflies his arms, lifts and drops him into a DDT on top of the chair. Morales instantly rolls to the apron, holding his forehead. Ben Price, and that backfired for Mad Morales there. He needs to keep himself safe, he's gotta face Kara Reinhardt later on. Eddie Vega, speaking of which, where is Kara? Ben Price, not sure. Williams gets up, but not before Dresden comes off the top rope and nails him with a flying version of her swansong finisher, dropping him right on top of that same chair he'd used on Morales. Ben Price, and that was not something Eddie Williams wanted. But I guess that's payback for what he did to Dresden last Warzone. Eddie Vega, I'm told we're not cutting to the back, but Kara Reinhardt has taken up a position to secure the Bad Company locker room in the back, as there are non-coms in there. Whatever that means. Ben Price means she's protecting Lily and Raven Reinhardt, maybe a few others. We did have a talent relations meeting earlier today that you missed. Eddie Vega, what? I missed it. Thought it was tomorrow? Ben Price, no, we're on the road tomorrow. Dresden gets to her feet and plays up to the crowd a bit. She pulls Williams up to his feet and then motions to Mammoth. Mammoth looks at her and nods. Morales comes back into the ring and grabs his chair off the mat. He winds up as Mammoth whips Salazar hard into a huge swing from the chair. The crack from the impact is heard throughout the arena. Salazar drops to the mat. Dresden shoves Williams towards Mammoth, who pulls him into a powerbomb setup. She gives a few orders to them, and Morales looks to be confused for a second. She points to Williams and then to Salazar, and he nods. Ben Price, what is Dresden doing? Eddie Vega, taking charge. She's calling the shots here. Mammoth pulls Williams up into his crucifix powerbomb position. He drops down with Williams, and Morales puts the chair between Williams and Salazar. Morales then runs to the corner and leaps up. He doesn't play up this time, and comes off with his corkscrew moonsault on top of Williams, on top of Salazar. Dresden rolls out of the ring and delivers a chop block to Reinhardt right as he drops Lana across the barricade with a powerbomb. She gets up and moves out of the way as Monster Mammoth comes out of the ring behind her, and he delivers a couple of forearms to Reinhardt's back. In the ring, Costa Alvarez seems to be asking the timekeeper what to do. Ben Price, how about the referee gets some control out here? Morales manages to hit Riot with a baseball slide drop kick as he exits the ring. This allows the last few remaining masked freaks to attack and hold on to Riot. Pearl comes off the ring apron and tries to hit Riot with a running knee to his face, but he ducks and she takes out the two masked cannon fodder. Eddie Vega, what are you going to do? Someone sided with Von Kraus on this decision or just isn't trying to stop it. Riot tries to grab Morales, but doesn't quite get him when one of the masked freaks grabs his leg. Dresden makes her way to the ramp and then whistles. All of the attackers start to recover and head up the ramp at her signal. In the ring, Williams is starting to come to a bit. He calls over to Costa Alvarez. The timekeeper nods and the referee then falls into place and checks Salazar, who is down, but starting to recover. She starts the count. 1, 2, 3. Ding. 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 Ben Price, well that was just screwy there. Eddie Vega, hey, how the match went. Eric Wilson, and your winners and new CWF Tag Team Champions. The Bastards. Eddie Vega, and they'll get the Freebird rule as well? Ben Price, probably, once Windsor is healed. In the ring, Riot slides in and sees what happened. Costa Alvarez hands both him and Williams the tag team titles, as their music plays. Reinhardt slides in and checks on Salazar. Riot looks a little pissed off, as he also then goes to check on his newest ally. Williams climbs up onto a corner and holds up the tag team title belt, playing up for the fans. Ben Price, well just who were they sent out there to stop? Why would Von Kraus want the Bastards to win? Eddie Vega, not sure he did. Think that was a call from Dresden. She hurt Reinhardt by taking one of his titles. Ben Price, and helped her father win one. But that also means she helped Williams win one as well. Eddie Vega, now you're going to confuse me. What matters is that the CWF Tag Team Champions are the Bastards, another set of tag team titles added to their resume. Ben Price, that is true, as much as we can say it shouldn't be, that is true. We've got to go to another commercial break. When we come back, Monster Mammoth, and I guess his freaks will be out here to defend the Valor Championship against Carly Nash. The Bastards. Utter brush it. Utter brush it beer, your life is empty, our bottles aren't. Ben Price, welcome back, we've got 2 more title matches for you tonight. Eddie Vega, the main event will be Kara Reinhardt, who just didn't come out here to help her twin brother and stablemates while they were being attacked, and Mad Morales. The best elite cham. Ben Price, careful, Valora is already in a bad mood as we saw. Eddie Vega, oh, yeah. Mad Morales will be defending against Kara Reinhardt and beating her within an inch of her miserable life, and keeping the elite title. Ben Price, bouquet. But first, Monster Mammoth will be defending the Valor Championship against newcomer to the CWF, Carly Nash. Eddie Vega, hey, I heard that. Looks like we're going to the back really quick, though. The camera cuts to the back. Carly Nash is stretching by some crates as Alyssa approaches. Alyssa Luke, she, got a minute? Carly Nash, sure. Alyssa Luke, she, tonight you face Monster Mammoth for the Valor title. The people need to know, do you fear the monster? Carly smirked. Carly Nash, Alyssa, I fear no one, he is just a man who can be beaten. Alyssa Luke, she, what is your strategy against him? Carly Nash, like I'm going to tell you that, just know that I have a plan I will execute here tonight, and the one saying will be true, the bigger they are the harder they fall, and Monster Mammoth his fall will be hard and heard loudly, and I will stand over him as the new Valor champion. Mammoth, you come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. But it won't be your head I take as my trophy, it will be your Valor title. The camera then cuts back to the ringside area. Ben Price, big words from the challenger. Let's go to the match. Eric Wilson, the following matchup is scheduled for one fall and will be fought under Valor Division rules. It will be for the CWF Valor Championship. Ben Price, and here we go for Monster Mammoth's first defense. Eddie Vega, of 5. He just has to get to 5. Ben Price, well, that does lead us to the question, can Monster Mammoth be the third person to ever successfully defend the Valor title 5 times and gain the prize of challenging for any CWF title? First he's gotta get past a newcomer to the CWF, but not wrestling as a whole. Carly Nash. Eddie Vega, I have to admit, I like Nash, and her tag team partner Vespertine, who make up Envy. They both had a win on Vanguard against the Landerson Familia, but this is singles and for the Valor Championship. She's about to get mauled by a mammoth. Eric Wilson, introducing first, the challenger. Coming to you from Grand Marais, Minnesota, being accompanied to the ring by Tracy Dixon and Hilda Meyer, weighing 172 pounds, she is, the premier athlete, Carly Nash. Carly walks to the ring ignoring the crowd, she climbs the ropes from the outside, and gives a thumbs down to the fans, then lowers her hood and smirks at the crowd. She steps down from the ropes inside the ring, removes her hoodie and stretches in the corner. Eric Wilson, and her opponent, the defending CWF Valor champion. First, a group of people come out onto the stage and file onto the ramp. 2 rows, 1 on each side. The group are all wearing various masks, ready for Halloween. Although the masks are of devils, mammoths, and assorted demons, they're all designed to be similar to Monster Mammoth's own mask. Ben Price, we saw these guys earlier. Who are these freaks? They helped the NKO out in the tag team title match earlier. Eddie Vega, well, that's probably right to say. I think I heard they're called the Freaks of the Night, and they're being used as a means to even up with the War Dogs and the like around here. And well, as we already saw, basically attack dogs against anyone they need. Ben Price, so red shirts for Von Kraus? Cannon fodder? Eddie Vega, I'm not going to say yes. But I'm sure that gives you your answer. Ben Price, yup. Monster Mammoth comes out from backstage, tearing off a propped-up curtain from the walkway. Putting it over his head, covering his eyes, and standing under a purple light on the stage for 15 seconds. One solid addition to his usual gear is the CWF Valor Championship around his waist. Eric Wilson, he comes in at 6 feet 6 inches and 337 pounds. This is the peak of freak Monster Mammoth. He rolls his neck eerily from side to side, before ripping off the curtain and throwing it into the crowd. He points to himself while walking down the ramp, pointing his thumbs at himself and gesturing to his person. With an intimidating expression, He gets close to the barricades on both sides and shakes them with his hands, spitting and snarling like a dog before hitting his own head once against the steel steps. Putting his arms to the sky and dragging them towards his chest slowly and with much anticipation, before climbing up the steps and wiping his boots on the apron. Ben Price, I may not like the man, but you can't discount two things. He is huge, and he is the Valor champion. We just have to see if he's good at adjusting to the Valor division rules in his first title defense. Eddie Vega, it's not like it's hard. You just have to listen to the referee when they tell you to stop doing the things you're not supposed to. Ben Price, or maybe not do them in the first place. Eddie Vega, that too. Monster Mammoth steps over the top rope, holding it down with his strength, and then gets to the center of the ring. He climbs up on the turnbuckle's middle rope and flexes for the crowd, hopping down from the spot and jogging around the ring once, acting as if every boo is only further motivation. Eric Wilson, your referee for this matchup, Ashley Beaton. Beaton calls the two competitors to the middle of the ring. She runs down the Valor division rules for both, and then asks them to acknowledge her. She has to ask Mammoth twice. She then asks them to both shake hands, which Mammoth appears to refuse to do, and he turns away from Nash, unbuckling the title belt and handing it to the referee. Ben Price, a bit of disrespect showing from the champion here. Eddie Vega, well, it's not like the handshake is required. Beaton holds up the title belt, and then hands it off to the ring attendant quickly. She then signals for the bell to start the match. Mammoth quickly turns to try to get the drop on Nash, but she ducks under a haymaker-style punch. Nash lashes out with a couple of Muay Thai-style kicks to Mammoth's kidneys, and the back of his knees. Ben Price, he missed the big hit. And looks like Carly Nash has some training. Eddie Vega, well, just going to point out. This is the CWF. Let's hope they all have some training. Nash hits the ropes and comes off with a short, low drop kick that hits Mammoth in the shin, taking him down to a kneel. She comes up quickly and goes to the other side, coming off with a rolling neck snap that slams the big man's face down. He naturally rolls over onto his back. Nash leaps down, making sure to hit him in the face with a knee, as she then hooks a leg and tries for a quick pinfall. 1. 2. The Mammoth kicks out, throwing Nash off of him. Ben Price, that was almost the quickest Valor title match, and a huge upset. Not sure Mammoth was ready for that type of impact right off the bat. Eddie Price, yes, but Nash just learned how to fly with that kick out. Mammoth rolls for the corner, and starts to pull himself up. Nash is right there, putting the boots to him at first, then changing up to forearms as he comes up to his feet. Eventually she switches out to a couple of shoulder strikes. She comes up to her feet, and goes to pull Mammoth out, apparently to whip him to the other side, but Mammoth puts the brakes on hard, and whips her back into the corner he was in. Ben Price, and the Valor champion becomes the immovable object. Mammoth turns around and face palms Nash, holding her in the corner. He delivers a couple of body shots, before bringing in a knee. He releases the face palm, and goes to pull her out in an Irish whip. Nash stops the whip and nails Mammoth with a huge headbutt, getting a little hop to land it right on the bridge of his mask-covered nose. Ben Price, game misconduct by Carly Nash. Eddie Vega, I'm not sure I'd want to trade headbutts with someone like Monster Mammoth. Ben Price, she hit it solid, and looks to have done what she needed it to. Nash whips Mammoth to the ropes. As he comes off, she goes for a huge clothesline. She causes Mammoth to stagger back. She again goes to the ropes, and comes off with a dropkick. Mammoth falls back to the ropes behind him, but doesn't go down. Ben Price, she's chipping him away. Hitting him hard, fast and not letting up. Mammoth comes off the ropes, stumbling, and Nash gets up under him. She lets his momentum take him over, just guiding his body down in what would be a Death Valley driver for a smaller opponent, but turns into more of a spiked martial arts throw due to the huge size difference here. Nash again goes for a pinfall attempt. 1. 2. Mammoth gets his shoulder up. Nash gets up quickly, shaking her head. Ben Price, Nash is throwing all she can at the big guy. Eddie Vega, the question is it enough? Mammoth starts to come up to his feet, and Nash is right there. She starts with a couple of single hammer-like strikes to the back of his head, but as he gets up to his feet, she turns it into a couple of forearms right up under his chin. She gets him back down to one knee, and then slaps on a cobra clutch in the middle of the ring. Beaton is right there to check on Mammoth, who lets Beaton know that he's not giving up. Ben Price, she can barely get her arms into the right position here. Eddie Vega, while true, if she could get it cinched in, taking his oxygen away is a good strategy. Mammoth seems to be done with it all. He bends forward, grabbing Nash by the arm, pulling her up onto his back. He then pushes up and launches both of them back into a corner. Nash takes the impact solidly, between the turnbuckle and Mammoth's body. He pulls her out of the corner, and flips her over his shoulder, and then drops down with a leg drop. Ben Price, and he squished her. Mammoth doesn't go for a pinfall yet, and instead comes up to his feet and then makes sure Nash comes up, using her hair at the start, but lets it go once Beaton warns him. He pulls her into a front facelock and then starts to drop forearms down across her lower back. After about 4 of the forearms, he releases the facelock, and then pulls her into a hug that he stoops down for. He doesn't hold on to a bear hug and instead takes her over for a huge belly-to-belly suplex. He tries to go for a pin. 1. 2. Not yet, as Nash uses her small size to twist and get her shoulders up, and get a foot onto the ropes. Ben Price, big suplex, but not enough. Nash is a fighter. Eddie Vega, but she's going to need to get back to chipping him down before he treats her like a bug. Mammoth gets up, but seeing her foot on the ropes, he doesn't touch her right away. He wags a finger at Beaton, letting her know he sees it. Nash starts to come up, and as soon as she's off the ropes, Mammoth comes in and hooks her arm. He tosses her over in something resembling a hip toss. Nash immediately starts to come back up, and Mammoth is there to kick her in the ribs, and then push her over. He then waits for her to get to her feet again. She swings at him, and he grabs her arm and then uses it to toss her across the ring. As soon as she lands, he rushes in. When he tries to walk over her, she twists, and takes him over with a drop toe hold. She floats up and over, and tries to lock him into a mat-based version of an abdominal stretch, a traditional wrestling guillotine hold. Ben Price, good switch up by the challenger here. Nash showing she's after that Valor title. Eddie Vega, but is this a good strategy against a man like Mammoth? Ben Price, what? Lock him down, stretch him out, and make it so he doesn't get much in the line of oxygen? Yes. Of course it is. Mammoth tries to get out of the hold, but it gives Nash an opportunity to turn it into a cradle-style pin. 1. 2. Mammoth gets out of that one, by pure force. Both come back up to their feet quickly. Ben Price, I'm not sure Mammoth was thinking this would be a challenge here. Nash sees a moment and she comes off the ropes with a knee to the side of Mammoth's thigh. Eddie Vega, and that'll Charlie horse a leg really quick. Now she might be onto something. Nash gets into a martial arts stance, and then gets a couple of good cutting style kicks in, shin to Mammoth's huge thigh muscle she had just got a good hit on. Mammoth drops to one knee, putting him right at the proper height for Nash to deliver one more, this one to Mammoth's face. Ben Price, that'll even up the size difference a bit. Nash heads for the ropes, and comes off. She looks to be going for some sort of running knee lift to Mammoth's head, but he explodes out of the kneel, and catches her in with a shoulder lift to the midsection. He drops her down into a huge spine buster from his shoulder. But he keeps his arm around her waist. Eddie Vega, I'll say it, if she would have hit that knee, it might have been over. But Mammoth was ready for it. Ben Price, you're not wrong, Eddie. Surprised to hear that from you. Mammoth goes up to his feet, still holding on to Nash. He then rushes to the corner, slamming her back to the top turnbuckle. He follows up with a couple of huge forearms to her chest, then one catches her with one along the side of the head. Beaton gives him a warning for being on the turnbuckle. 1. Ben Price, that just rang her bell, the hard way. 2. Mammoth bends down and delivers a couple of hard shoulders to her midsection as well. 3. Eddie Vega, but one time too many to that well, and she gets run over in a mammoth stampede. 4. Mammoth pulls her out of the corner, breaking the count, but then whips her back in hard. Mammoth deposits Nash onto the top turnbuckle. He looks around to the crowd and then up to the private box that is more than likely being used by the Vaughn Crosses. He nods, and then pulls Nash's head down onto his shoulder. He finishes pulling her onto the shoulder, upside down, in the setup for a muscle buster. Ben Price, what's he got on his mind now? Eddie Vega, hurting people, what else? Mammoth takes a tentative step, going up to the second rope. Beaton again has to warn him about taking too long. He then takes another step up, going up to the top rope. Ben Price, Monster Mammoth, is going up to the top rope. Beaton starts the 5 count again. 1. Mammoth gets his second foot up to the top rope and stands there. 2. Ben Price, what's he doing? We've never seen him go up to the top rope before. 3. Eddie Vega, big man, is going to fall down hard. 4. Mammoth gets 1 second to pose there for a moment before he falls back off the top turnbuckle. He lands, hard, with the muscle buster. Nash bounces off his shoulder, falling down to the mat. Ben Price, we just had a train collision in the middle of the ring. Mammoth rolls Nash over and goes for the pin. 1. 2. 3. Eddie Vega, and Monster Mammoth is now 1/5 of the way to any other title shot at any other title. Ben Price, and a new man, he followed through with the rules in that match. Pushed a couple of counts. And I'm being informed he calls that move, the Mammoth Monster Mash, special just for our Halloween season shows, pushing limits on pure wrestling and personal limits, going to the top rope. Eddie Vega, the Valor Championship has pushed so many people to grow. He should be no different. Mammoth suddenly calls one of his freaks to the ringside area. He gets handed a can of spray paint. Stepping over to where Carly Nash is starting to recover in the ring. He moves to grab the back of her shirt, and starts to lift her up by it. Quickly they're joined in the ring by Vespertine, who runs out past the freaks and slides under the ropes. Mammoth lets Nash go, and gets ready to fight. Ben Price, Vespertine out here to save her teammate in envy. But what was Mammoth going to do? Mammoth and Vespertine stare each other down. Before things can break down, Armand von Kraus' voice can be heard over the PA system. Armand von Kraus, not tonight, Mammoth. Let these two go. We don't want to make new enemies of potential allies. Mammoth nods, and then moves to exit the ring. He grabs the Valor title from the timekeeper's table and starts to head back up the ramp. Vespertine goes and checks on Carly Nash. Ben Price, not sure what that was about. But Armand von Kraus just stopped Mammoth from fighting Nash and Vespertine further. Eddie Vega, who knows for sure? But he called them potential allies. Von Kraus is still recruiting. Ben Price, that makes sense, for sure. But, we have to go to our final commercial break for the night. When we come back, Mammoth's teammate, Mad Morales, defends the Elite title against Bad Company's Kara Reinhardt. Peak of Freak Monster Factory. Let your inner freak emerge. The show comes back, and they're in the backstage area. Ben Price, welcome back, once again. I'm told we're going to the back right away. We should be there now based on my monitor feed. Eddie Vega, let's get to another hardcore match here. Kara Reinhardt is standing in the staging area before she is called down to the ring. She bounces from foot to foot while mentally preparing herself. That is until she goes on her guard when Jasmine Minton steps out of the shadows. Jasmine Minton, relax. I'm not here to hurt you. If I was, you would already be down. Kara doesn't relax her stance. Kara Reinhardt, what do you want, witch? Jasmine Minton, I want to be of service, Kara. You are facing Armin's forces tonight in the form of the NKO. I want to help. Also, I can help with the blood puking. Kara narrows her eyes. Kara Reinhardt, you shouldn't even know about that. Jasmine Minton, and yet, I do. This is war. I have a vested interest in seeing Armand go down. You need me. Kara grits her teeth, seizing Jasmine by the throat, lifting her, and slamming her against the wall. Kara Reinhardt, as you can clearly tell, I do not need you. Once she releases Jasmine to allow her to breathe, Jasmine looks at her with wide open eyes. Jasmine Minton, what have you done? You've indebted yourself. Kara Reinhardt, might as well be to someone who cares about me rather than someone who needs a tool. Now be off with you. I have a match to wrestle. Jasmine Minton, you will regret this. And she is gone before Kara can react. Ben Price, what the hell was that? Eddie Vega, I don't know, but, for fear of getting Kara Reinhardt upset at me again. Ben Price, you're kinda turned on. Eddie Vega, you said it, not me. The camera cuts back to the ringside area. Ben Price, but that said, it's now time for a match that, after everything over tonight and last Warzone, I have a bad feeling about. The special rules for this match seem completely tilted in the NKO's favor here. Eddie Vega, Kara has teammates, right? Ben Price, teammates just got jumped by the NKO in the tag team title matchup. Greg Salazar didn't look like he was doing too well at the end of that match. Eddie Vega, good point. Ben Price, for the fans at home, Mad Morales is calling this Carnival Rules. Falls count anywhere, no DQs, and you must win 2 out of 3 falls. Eddie Vega, on the plus side, whoever wins this fight will definitely have earned the right to call themselves Elite Champion. Eric Wilson, ladies and gentlemen. The next match is for the CWF Elite Championship and it is set to be fought under Carnival Rules. There are no disqualifications. Falls count anywhere and it will be a 2 of 3 falls match. Introducing first, the challenger. Hailing from Dresden, Germany. She stands 6 foot and weighs in at 200 pounds. She is a member of Bad Company, Kara Reinhardt. The lights dim in the arena and Ich Will by Rammstein plays as Kara makes her way out, stopping in surprise as the crowd comes to their feet cheering for her. Quickly regaining her composure, she removes something from her waist and snaps her arm, a security baton extending out with a loud snap which brings another round of cheers from the crowd as she marches down to the ring, climbing inside and pacing around the ring, her eyes fixed on the entryway. Ben Price, well, Kara definitely came prepared. Those security batons can really cause some damage. Eddie Vega, is it just me or does Kara kinda seem extra dommy tonight? Ben Price, can the woman not wrestle one match without your sexual fantasies? Eddie Vega, apparently not. Eric Wilson, and introducing her opponent. Hailing from Norfolk, Virginia. He stands 5 feet 10 inches and weighs in at 190 pounds. He is a member of the NKO and is the reigning and defending CWF Elite Champion, the Air Devil, Mad Morales. As the music hits, the arena darkens as the lights switch to a strobing red. As all the lights start to merge into one as it slowly goes up the ramp, it shows Morales, hands crossed under his navel and his head down. As the song hits the 28-second mark, the lights strobe on beat, as Morales hits a new pose each time until jumping and landing at the final strobe at 37 seconds. He then vibes out to the song, moving with a bounce on beat, rocking out with fans who join into his grunge aesthetic, jeering and taunting fans who boo or show dissatisfaction to his antics. He pauses at the ring and leaps and slides horizontal under the ring before kipping up with his index fingers pointed like horns on his head, holding the stance for a few seconds before climbing the opposite turnbuckle and pointing one finger like a horn on his head and one into the sky. Ben Price, and here comes the current champ. Say what you like about his ethics and morality, but the man has been fearless in winning and defending the elite title. Eddie Vega, you can say that again, Benny boy. And now we're getting a fight between 2 of the people in the second ever Elite X match. I say match. I believe war might be more accurate. How is only one ref going to keep track of this, Benny boy? Ben Price, I'm told that Ashley Beaton, who I hope has had time to recover from Abigail's attack, is going to be the head referee for this match, but other refs are on standby to follow the action in case the fighters and ref become separated. Ashley Beaton holds up the Elite Championship belt and then hands it to Eric Wilson, who takes it with him as he leaves the ring. Ashley Beaton calls for the bell. Ding! Ding! As the match starts, Kara charges forward and hits Morales in the gut with her security baton and then brings the baton down again on the spine of the back. She pulls Morales up and spins him to face him and punches him in the face and knocks him to the mat. She puts her baton away for the moment and pulls Morales to his feet. He counters with a few punches to the gut, but it has little effect on Kara, who counters with a headbutt and sends Morales back down to the mat. Kara pulls Morales to his feet again, but he cuts her offense short with a jawbreaker and rebounds off the ropes and brings her to the mat with a swinging neckbreaker. Ben Price, these two wasted no time getting the fight started, and I guess Kara spent some time in the gym in the lead up to this fight. She definitely seems to be hitting a bit harder. Eddie Vega, I was about to say the same thing but was afraid I'd get mocked again. In the ring, Morales moves over to Kara and gives her a couple of kicks to the ribs before rebounding off the ropes and hitting her with baseball slide. He then hops up to his feet and continues running to the ropes, rebounding off of them again and hitting a running bulldog on Kara. Once more, he jumps up and springboards off the ropes but is caught in midair with a clothesline from Kara that turns him inside out and dumps him in the ring. Ben Price, Morales seems to have the right idea here of increasing the tempo and speed of the match and trying to stay moving, but Kara caught him and put the brakes on it. Eddie Vega, yeah, definitely would not want to be on the receiving end of that. That's for sure. Kara pulls Mad Morales up to his feet and once more, he cuts her off with a jawbreaker and then brings Kara to the mat with a DDT. He springboards off the top rope and double foot stomps her in the gut. He pauses for a moment to play to the crowd. He runs to the ropes and rebounds off them, charging towards Kara only to be caught as she comes up to a knee and charges forward into a spear-like tackle, moving into a mounted position and immediately begins hammering him with rights and lefts. Ben Price, the fight seems to be continuing along the same vein of Mad Morales trying to increase the tempo of the match, and Kara continues to try and focus on wearing down Mad Morales, betting apparently that she can take more punishment than he can. Eddie Vega, I would be willing to bet she might be accurate on that front. I mean, this woman is like a Terminator or something. Have we checked to make sure she isn't a cyborg from the future? Ben Price, how would we check that? Eddie Vega, dogs, asking her to remove her skin, maybe put her in a room with MRI machine and see if it pulls her towards it, I dunno, man. Watch the Terminator movies. Mad Morales counters and breaks out of the position by trying an armbar, which Kara moves and counters, resulting in both fighters getting to their feet. Morales hits first, kicking Kara in the gut and then hooks her, hitting alternating knee shots into her torso, hitting a back elbow and then finishing the combo off with a jumping knee lift that brings Kara to the mat. Ben Price, grunge shot. Mad Morales hits one of his combos on Kara and it looks like he isn't done yet. Eddie Vega, it looks like he's going high risk. Morales hops up to the top turnbuckle and waits for Kara to get to her feet. He leaps off into a moonsault but Kara catches him and power lifts him into a military press slam and hurls him out of the ring, and he lands at the base of the commentary desk. Ben Price, my God. Kara just threw Mad Morales out of the ring and oh my. Eddie Vega, and she goes airborne and hits Mad Morales with a springboard crossbody. Ben Price, Kara is definitely not one to go high flying often, but it seems to have worked this time. Eddie Vega, title match, Benny boy, can't hold anything back. Kara extends her security baton and as Morales gets to his feet she gives him a couple shots to the ribs. She tries to send Morales towards the barricades but he reverses and throws her into the barricades. Morales' next move is cut off when a fan hands Kara a beer and she throws it in his face, leading him over to the commentary desk and bouncing him face first into the desk 3 times. Morales then counters with an elbow to the gut and slams Kara's face into the commentary desk and then tries to whip her into the steel steps, but Kara reverses it and sends him into the steel steps. Ben Price, well, we knew the ring wouldn't hold these two for now, and we seem to be moving into the war part of the match we were expecting. Eddie Vega, and this is where the match is going to get dangerous, mark my words. Kara pulls Morales to his feet and tries to send him into the barricades. Morales goes with the move and leaps into the crowd. Kara comes in after him and finds herself facing three freaks with Morales. One is dressed like a dominatrix, complete with whip, the second wears a gimp-style mask, and the third one is more dressed like the edgy emo girl type. Morales orders the freaks to attack. The dominatrix lashes out with the whip, but Kara catches the whip and pulls her close into a belly-to-belly suplex. The emo girl hits Kara with a chair on the back, and the male in the bondage gear and gimp mask picks her up and holds her up in a choke lift while Morales takes a seat and catches his breath a bit. For her part, Kara kicks the man in the groin, breaking the hold, and whips him towards emo girl, sending the two toppling to the ground. Morales comes in with a steel chair and hits Kara in the back again. Ben Price, Kara is fighting bravely here, but she's outnumbered 4-1. Wait a sec. Eddie Vega, Raven stands up and attacks emo girl, pulling her off, and the two go brawling. Another fan revealed to be Lily grabs the whip from Dom Freak and begins choking her with it. The third freak, seeing reinforcements arrive, is sent off backstage by Morales and retreats. Kara gets to a knee, still gasping for breath, but recovering fast. Morales comes up behind her. Kara counters and hits him in the face with a back elbow smash and grabs him behind his head and leads him into the concession vendor area. The crowd cheers as they are unexpectedly given an up-close and personal view of the fight as Morales tries to break free and he and Kara trade punches, punching Kara in the head and then working the body, and a punch from Kara bringing Morales to a knee. Kara pulls him up and hammers his body with a series of hard punches. Kara ends with throwing Morales into the counter of a food vendor and kicking him in the chest, pinning him up against the food vendor as holds up her thumb and index finger. Kara Reinhardt, zwei, 2 beers, please. The vendor sets 2 beers down and Kara takes 1 beer and drinks it in one big gulp as the crowd cheers and roots her on. Kara, seeing the reaction of the crowd, shrugs and orders a third beer, giving the young men in the crowd another demonstration as she drinks the next beer, also in one gulp, and looks down at Morales. Kara Reinhardt, oh. Forgot about you. She then takes the last beer and pours some of it on him before throwing the rest in his face. Kara plays to the crowd. Meanwhile, Mad Morales gets to his feet, taking a cup of coffee and throws the hot liquid on Kara. Mad Morales, here, coffee's up, bitch. Kara grits her teeth, letting out a yelp of pain as she turns to face Morales. Morales hits a boot to the gut and he leads her into a gift shop. Grabbing a replica title, he smashes Kara in the face and Morales lays Kara out on a table and runs over to a nearby counter, running along and trying a moonsault, but Kara rolls out of the way and Morales hits the table, which does not break. Kara grabs Morales and picks him up, and drives him through the table with her variation of the Michinoku driver. Ben Price, Dresden driver. Dresden driver through a table. Eddie Vega, fans had better get their merch before Morales and Kara destroy the gift shop. Kara makes the pin and Erica Costa Alvarez catches up before other refs and she drops down and makes the count. 1, 2, 3. Erica Costa comes up and speaks into her comm, letting Ashley Beaton know. Erica Costa Alvarez, we got a pinfall in the gift shop. Reinhardt up 1-0. Eric Wilson, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the first fall, by pinfall, Kara Reinhardt. Kara is up 1-0. Ben Price, Erica Costa Alvarez must have drawn this area and was able to make the count here. Kara goes up 1-0 in this unique match. Eddie Vega, not looking good for Morales right now. He needs to win 2 falls in a row, but given that this is his match, given the new friends he has, and given how he has performed at defending the belt, I'd have to say it's more likely than you might think to get those falls. Kara tries for a second pin right off the bat. Erica Costa Alvarez begins to count again. 1, 2. Mammoth comes out and hits Kara in the back with a 2x4 and pulls her up before cracking her over the head with the 2x4, sending Kara to the ground. Kara gets to her feet, shaking her head and urging Mammoth to come on. Mammoth gives her what she wants, knocking her down with a clothesline, grabbing her by the throat and lifting her up with one hand as he looks at her. Monster Mammoth, keep sticking your nose in our business, bitch, and I might just break you and make you one of my freaks. Mammoth chokeslams Kara through another table, letting out a roar as he and his tag team partner seize momentum in the match. Ben Price, you listed friends as an advantage for Morales, and we see that coming into play now as Mammoth comes in and helps Morales out. Eddie Vega, yeah, can't blame Kara for trying to get 2 pinfalls in a row though. Not the worst idea. Can you imagine Kara as one of Mammoth's freaks? Ben Price, no. She doesn't strike me as his type, really. Eddie Vega, yeah, Kara does seem to prefer to be in control. Ben Price, you know how hard you're making it to not kink shame, as you would put it? Morales gets to his feet as Mammoth pulls Kara to her feet. The two wrestlers ping-pong Kara between them. Mammoth lifts Kara up and hits her with a backbreaker. Picking Kara up, and he and Morales leave the gift shop. As they leave, Kelia hits Morales from behind with a steel chair and Akla charges in and nails Mammoth with a clothesline, sending him and Kara to the floor. Pacific Rim brawls with Morales and Mammoth as Kara crawls over to the side and gets to her feet, taking a moment to get a second wind. Ben Price, Pacific Rim. The upstarts are helping out Bad Company. Looks like the upstarts are sending a message to their biggest critic in Bad Company. Eddie Vega, well, Benny boy. We said this was going to be a war. This match is living up to that. Akla grabs Mammoth and leads him off into the backstage area as Kelia brings Morales to the ground and hitting a DDT, planting Morales onto the prone chair. Kelia comes over to Kara and checks on her. Kara Reinhardt, thanks for the assist. Kelia Thulnot, no prob, hopefully we proved that you guys can trust the upstarts. Kara nods and Kelia heads off to help with Mammoth. Ben Price, well, that seems to seal it. Kelia telling Kara flat out that the upstarts are still with Bad Company. Eddie Vega, or the upstarts, are playing both sides to try and ensure they're on the winning side. Kara comes over to Morales and drags him to his feet, leading him through the backstage area, moving towards a parking garage area, leading outside. Kara slams Morales face first into one of the trailers, tries for a second, but Morales blocks and counters, sending Kara face first into the trailer. He jumps and hits a dropkick, driving Kara into the trailer again and pulls Kara to her feet, and Kara counters with a couple of punches into the gut of Morales, lifting him up and plants him on the concrete with a backdrop, both fighters lying on the ground exhausted. Ben Price, this fight is moving into an area where injuries become more than possible but likely. Eddie Vega, we can agree on that, Benny boy. This is not an area I would want to fight in. Kara gets up, and from in between some of the semi-trailers, Abigail comes out and plants a baseball bat in Kara's gut and then hits her in the back. Morales pulls Kara to her feet and hits another grunge shot combo on Kara. Abigail pulls Kara to her feet and her and Morales whip Kara into a dumpster. Kara slumps to the ground and Morales charges and hits Kara with a dropkick. Ben Price, Abigail Dresden now? Come on. She's suspended for Christ's sake. Eddie Vega, correction, Benny boy. She's suspended for next show. This show she's still active. Valora seemingly comes out of nowhere and cracks Morales on the back with her trusty lead pipe. She points it at Kara as she walks past, clearly interested in getting to her daughter. She stands between Kara and Abigail and smirks. Valora Salinas, come on chica. Batter up. Oh wait. You literally can't attack me, can you? Abigail hesitates and lets out a frustrated noise, but Kara stands up and stands next to Valora, deploying her security baton. Abby, seeing a target she can attack, does so, charging Kara, but Valora blocks the bat's swing with her lead pipe. Kara moves in and hits Abby on the knee, the ribs, and the head with the security baton. Valora looks at Kara, who shrugs. Kara Reinhardt, I assumed you didn't want to fight your daughter if you didn't have to. Valora Salinas, well. Gracias. Though be careful with assuming when it comes to me. Ben Price, Valora Salinas. The former elite champion making an appearance, apparently to enforce that suspension. Eddie Vega, well, she did say she was willing to get physical to enforce her rulings, perhaps this is her warning shot? Abigail gets up and takes another swing, luring Kara into a space between two semi-trailers. Abby smirks, whistles, and Lana and Trelisa roll out from under the semi-trailers. Both women assault Kara with a series of kicks to the ribs where one hits, then the other girl hits a fraction of a second later. This goes on for a bit before both women kick Kara in the head. Abby and Morales oversee the ambush while discussing strategy. Ben Price, Lana and Trelisa come in now, and I'm pretty sure the entire NKO has made an appearance in this match. Eddie Vega, scary thought. Abby might be inspiring them. Look at it. They're all from different backgrounds and motivations, but they are all fighting hard to make sure Mad Morales comes out of here the champion. This is creepy. Ben Price, for once, I agree completely. We saw this with the upstarts, and now we're seeing that gift of charisma used for darker purposes. Eddie Vega, you think it's too late to make a deal with Armand? Valora grabs the heads of Abby and Morales and slams them together, and then maintains her hold on Abby as she leads her off. In between the two semi-trailers, Kara struggles to get back to her feet while being showered by kicks from Lana and Trelisa. Both women grab Kara and bounce her from one trailer to another trailer. Trelisa kicks, but Kara catches the kick, bringing her elbow down onto the knee of the woman and throwing her into Lana. Kara then moves to take the offensive, hitting both women with a number of punches and strikes. Meanwhile, Morales comes over to the end of one of the trailer and climbs up a ladder towards the roof. Kara moves over and climbs up, hoping to cut off any move idea Morales might have. Lana and Trelisa recover from the attack and move a dumpster over behind one of the trailers. Kara reaches up and hits and punches him in the back, stopping his climb. She grabs him and tries to pull him off. Morales stops and kicks on Kara and slams her face first into the ladder. Then again and throws Kara off the trailer, and Kara lands in the dumpster. Morales finishes his climb and then jumps off the top of the trailer, hitting a swanton bomb, landing in the dumpster and on top of Kara. Ashley Beaton makes her way over to the ladder and peeks in. Seeing that Morales is still on top of Kara, she counts, slamming her hand on the side of the dumpster. Crowd back in the arena, holy shit. Holy shit. Ben Price, my god. A swanton bomb off the top of a semi-trailer, folks, into a dumpster and onto Kara. I think both fighters are out cold. Eddie Vega, I think you're right. They aren't moving. 1, 2, 3. Ben Price, and there's the count. Morales has evened the fight 1-1. Eddie Vega, I said this match was going to be a war, and it has been. I'm worried, Ben. I don't think either of these fighters will be the same coming out of this match. Eric Wilson, ladies and gentlemen, Mad Morales wins the second fall, by pinfall. The match is tied, 1 fall apiece. Kara kicks out by reflex to prevent another count from taking place. Lana and Trelisa pull Kara out of the dumpster and dump her on the ground, then they help Morales out, who looks at them and nods. Mad Morales, thanks ladies. I think I got this. Better get backstage before the white hats show up. Trelisa and Lana nod and head to the back as Morales stalks Kara, pulling her to her feet and once more running her face first into the trailers, and we see that something in the dumpster has cut Kara open and she is bleeding. He bounces her back and forth. He lifts Kara up and hits a belly-to-belly style suplex as he picks Kara up and throws her into the trailer. Before he can follow up, however, Jasmine Minton comes in from one of the ends, and mutters something as she holds out her hand, a bright flash of light flashing, which seems to disorientate and blind Morales for a bit. Kara jumps to her feet and grabs Morales as she continues to pummel his body with punches and then hits a belly-to-belly suplex as she lifts him up and returns the favor by throwing him into one of the trailers. Ben Price, Jasmine Minton. And she's helping Kara? Has Kara joined up with her? Eddie Vega, I don't know that Kara is even aware of it. She may have seen the flash, but she never looked behind her. She immediately went for Morales. Kara pulls Morales to his feet and hits a double-arm DDT, busting Morales open as well. She sits up and exhales, looking around as she gets to her feet and pulls Morales to his feet, leading him to the end of one of the trailers and lifts him up for a big slam. Morales moves, getting his feet on the trailer and runs along it, hitting a makeshift tornado DDT, once more both him and Kara laying on the ground seemingly spent. Ben Price, and the match continues to go on. Both fighters are bleeding and this is really starting to turn into a war of attrition. Eddie Vega, I don't know how long they can bleed like that and fight. My guess? Not long. Kara sits up almost Undertaker style and gets to her feet, pulling Morales up to his feet, and Kara pins Morales up against a brick wall and continues to hammer Morales in the ribs and torso. Morales dropping to a knee, clutching his ribs, spitting up some blood as Kara gabs him and hits a belly-to-belly suplex, which again leaves Morales lying on the ground, holding his ribs and kicking the ground. Ben Price, Kara's endurance is insane. Outside of the cut, she doesn't seem injured. She might just be better at hiding the pain than Morales is. Morales definitely is showing the signs of those punches to the body and suplexes, and the high-risk moves likely didn't help either. Eddie Vega, to be fair, Kara came in with a plan, work the body, and it's starting to pay off for her now. But, give the Air Devil his due, Benny boy. Even though he's showing his injuries, he's still fighting. Ben Price, oh of course, like him or not, Mad Morales has been a fighting champion since he won the belt, and if he comes out of this match with the belt, will continue to do so. Eddie Vega, yeah, no doubt. I think both of these fighters deserve the belt with the fight they've given tonight so far. Kara moves over and pulls Morales to his feet and leads him over to a car and slams him into the passenger side of the car and again pummels his body, and she turns and throws him into the car door. Kara turns him around a couple of times to build momentum and then throws him into and through the window on the passenger side. Morales crawls through the window and enters the back seat of the car. Kara opens the door and gets double kick from Morales, and then he comes in and pulls her into the car, slamming her feet first into the back of the driver's seat. He wraps his legs around her neck and grabs the handles on the roof of the car to add leverage as he tries to choke his opponent out. Ben Price, are they in a car? Eddie Vega, usually when a guy and girl head into the back seat of a car. Ben Price, do not finish that sentence. Kara does not panic and strikes a nerve cluster in his inner thigh, causing Morales to grunt out in pain. Kara breaks free and throws Morales into the front seat and into the radio. Kara pulls the lever and the driver's seat moves forward, allowing Kara to grab him behind the head and shove him repeatedly face first into the radio panel. She then throws him into the back seat. Wrapping the seatbelt around his neck, she pulls hard, now turning the tables and trying to choke out her opponent. Ben Price, my God, this match is getting brutal. It has at times seemed like these two are fighting an actual war and trying to kill each other. Eddie Vega, well, our fans like violence. Like him or hate him, Armand von Kraus and his new elite champion, Mad Morales, are giving the fans just that. And Kara is proving up to do her part. Mad Morales claws at the belt, trying to get enough space to breathe, and hops up and plants both feet into Kara and knocks her into the door. A second kick causes Kara to let go of the seatbelt. Mad Morales kicks Kara again, knocking her out of the door and to the ground. Morales comes out of the car and pulls Kara to her feet and tries to suplex her, but Kara blocks it, headbutts, and then hits a belly-to-belly suplex, planting Morales on the hood of the car. Kara climbs up onto the hood as well, pulling him to his feet and lifts him up and power bombs him onto the windshield, creating a big spider pattern crack on the windshield, and then picks him up and power bombs him onto the roof of the car and picks him up a third time and plants him once more on the roof, making a dent in the roof. Kara tries to pin, but Morales kicks out and Kara stumbles back. Mad Morales comes down and hits a belly-to-belly suplex, he and Kara hitting the windshield and further cracking the windshield as once again, both fighters lay there, trying to recover. Ben Price, I sure feel sorry for the owner of that car. Already a decent amount of damage done to it. Eddie Vega, somehow I doubt their insurance policy covers acts of wrestler. Once more, Kara sits up and nods as she gets to her feet. Kara positions herself behind and grabs him from behind as he gets up, moving one arm up under his chin. She then rotates her body until she is basically standing back to back with Mad Morales, lifting him up. Kara locks in one of his legs and she kneels down. Almost immediately, Morales' free leg flails as the man struggles and tries to break free, but Kara has the hold locked in. Ashley Beaton moves over and checks for a submission. Ben Price, the Scorpion Sleeper. Kara has only used this once before on Kelia. This was the hold that won Team Reinhardt the CWF Tag Team titles, and it could give her the Elite title. Eddie Vega, it's an illegal choke hold. Ben Price, and there are no disqualifications. Armand and Mad Morales obviously forgot about this hold when they made this anything goes. Also, for the record, it seems like the hold is legal. Mad Morales' movements begin to slow down and he finally stops moving. Almost immediately, Ashley Beaton is there and checks on him and raises his hand and lets go. The hand falls. Ashley Beaton stands up and calls for the bell and orders Kara to break the hold, which she does. Ding! Ding! Eric Wilson, ladies and gentlemen, referee Ashley Beaton has declared Mad Morales to be out cold. The winner, by submission, and the new CWF Elite Champion, Kara Reinhardt. Paramedics come out to check on the prone body of Mad Morales. Kara finally shows some sense of the effects of the match as she leans against the wall and slides into a seated position, a paramedic coming over to check on her as well, tending to the cut on her forehead. Erica Costa Alvarez arrives on scene with the belt and hands it to Kara, who slings it over her shoulder and lets out a relieved breath. Ben Price, we have a new Elite Champion. At one time I would have said an unlikely champion, but Kara has won a high percentage of her hardcore-themed matches. And whether Kara or Mad Morales won. Look at this match. Look at what it seems like it will take to remove the Elite title from the champion. Kara gets up and makes her way over to Morales and pats him on the shoulder. Kara Reinhardt, you were a worthy champion. Good fight. Ben Price, sportsmanship from Kara or just an acknowledgement of Morales' record as champ? Eddie Vega, ¿por qué no los dos? Why not both? Ben Price, sucking up to Valora because of that comment about joining Armand? Eddie Vega, I plead the fifth.